Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Shooting the Shelf here on the Just Shelve It YouTube channel. How's everybody doing tonight? Okay. So that's a thing that just happened.
There you
Curtis, how
go.
are you doing this evening? You're fiddling with something over there.
I am doing fantastic. I'm actually fiddling. We're both stumbling, fiddling with a Valiant Knight. I also just opened up the Blood Armor, so haven't really
Ooh.
messed with those too much. So, yeah,
I hear
just
that one's been biting people, so watch your fingers, man.
yeah.
Wear
I
some
saw
protection.
Dork Lair bleeding the other day, so
I haven't heard from him since yesterday, so maybe he got
I
consumed.
actually had a goblin make me bleed yesterday. I was breaking apart a goblin body for that mouse that I was making, and the leg got me. It got me right in the arm, right in the middle finger. It's right here. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that, Jesse? Let me see if I
No,
can
I'm
move.
sorry. My mind doesn't
Right,
register,
it's right.
micro cuts.
I just wanted to show you what finger it was on.
Oh,
But no, I'm doing good. The and we can kind of get into it, later in the show. But I think knowing what to prepare for as far as the post Legions Con blues that we talk about, and really making sure that I savored every moment at the convention, created some really great memories, and took a lot of photos, and now just having projects to work on has really helped kind of stem that and just kind of like keep that away. So
awesome.
far I'm doing really well. What
Very
about you,
cool. Yeah.
Jesse?
I'm doing great, just jumped right back into work Tuesday. It's been like full throttle on a couple projects there. Um I'm actually feeling pretty good after the convention this year. Last year obviously I got sick and had that kind of falling out at the end of the convention where
Yeah.
my body was just like, you're done. Got home and tested positive for COVID. This year, it's a little, that little hotel crud,
Mm.
the air can recycled air and all that jazz and not sleeping much. But otherwise, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I
It
have,
seems like there was a lot less of that this year. Like I've heard of a couple people kind of coming away with a little bit of crud, but not nearly what it was last year. So
yeah,
I don't know if we're just far enough kind of away from COVID, or it did feel like we had a little bit more room to breathe in there a little bit. So maybe that helped as well.
I think the
Um,
space being bigger, the ceiling being much more open, the hallway, there was place
yeah,
to disperse in the hallways and stuff. I mean, it's that time of year where a lot of people start getting sick no matter what, and being
right.
in the hotel always, isn't great on your circulatory system. So,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, I came back, I've reorganized some shelves
that always
yesterday.
helps.
Friday was my 2-year Cabal anniversary, which
Oh,
is weird to
good.
think.
That's cool.
I've only been in the Cabal for 2 years after the first Legion's Con I went to. So, um, yeah, I got these like sandwich containers at Walmart, or like the black ready-made or Tupperware uh storage containers. It's like the black tray with the clear lid. It's
Yeah.
about like this big. It's perfect for figures. Like I've got a full figure in there to do a custom with the Red Wings from a Xenathon and stuff. So I've got like 15 of those stacked up, with some have 2 goblins in them. So I've got like my customs are all together, so I can start working. I just grab one of those off and start going to town. So
Yeah, I mean, that was the first thing I did was like I woke up my daughter the other day. My wife was out of the house. I woke up my daughter. I'm like, listen, like last year I fell into a depression for like 3-4 months. It was terrible. I can't do this. I can't not paint. I got to have something creative going on. I need your help to help clean up my area and just kind of take care of some things. And she's like, all I heard was my dad needs help. Let's go. She got up out of bed and came
that's great.
downstairs, and we
That's
cleaned up my
awesome.
workspace. And yeah, sometimes just organizing stuff can really kind of help you get going. So um, I know sometimes you can get into that headspace where nothing anybody says can help you. But for those out there that are feeling it, I see that from Carver Customs there. Try to organize something, try to do something creative, reach out to friends. This is a community for a reason, and don't suffer in
Yeah.
silence. Um, you know, so that would be my advice.
And I'll say, for anyone, feel free to reach out to
And
me. I'm,
I can't
I'm
hear
not
you now. Did you mute yourself?
I did not. My mic is not showing that it's muted.
I don't know. I don't know if it's on my end or on your end.
How about now?
Can anybody else hear Jesse? Am I the only one? Let's
Or am I just a
bring on our guest and he can tell us hear Jesse.
Hey,
how's it going?
Hey,
good. I can hear all. I can hear both of you, so you're good.
Okay. Curtis is just tuning me out. It's okay.
No, my sound went out. I couldn't hear Vernon at first either, but now I can hear both of you guys.
Okay.
So,
well, after that unceremonious intro, but for technical, that was a great decision, Curtis. Welcome everyone to the Shelf. Cool Minivan Dad, Vernon Gibbs. Welcome to the Shelf. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I love listening to you guys. You talk about some great stuff. So it's an honor to be here.
We're happy to have you.
Absolutely.
Before we
quite
jump
a few
into
folks in the chat, I wanted to call out real quick if that's okay. We've got Dave Orkin, Destination Stone, Captain Firebeard Baker. Still one of the best moments for me at Legion's Con was seeing Elijah. Somehow I missed it in our chat. I didn't know he was coming over to the U.S. And so, seeing him was awesome. Joe Gonzalez, obviously we hope to see him next year. DB Blake, and Carver Customs, Dan, Legends Collector 1321. Great seeing you there as well. Trevor, okay, seeing him.
He's all right.
Easy.
Yes. Stephanie Orr.
Trevor is my personal hero right now, so thank you, Trevor. You know why.
Ed's nice. JMax 77. No, I love Trevor. Trevor's awesome. And that picture of him kind of grabbing me by the shirt and pulling me in for a smooch is one of the best.
So. Oh yeah. I do that in the video. I did a little video that was a recap of Lee, and I saw that. I was like, I gotta get that picture. Is just so awesome. It's like a real, genuine, like I love you kind of thing. So I had to throw that in there.
Awesome. And we got Tanya here popped in. So
there you go.
Beautiful. Well, are you ready to go to shelf selections, or did you have something else, Jesse?
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to set up. So let's jump into the selections this week.
All right, let's rock and roll. First one here is Toy Goof and Guns, which is our boy Rygon, and just a really cool shot with some of those new Valiant Night bodies. He's got one of those Cabal shields on the one, and I actually didn't even know until I saw the tag on here that's actually one of my wife's capes on the front. So that was cool.
And,
it was funny because he was showing me the other night that cape, and I'm like, oh, that's a really cool cape. He's like, yeah, that's your wife's. I was like, oh, all right.
So, that's a Carver really good shot.
Like he came back from Legion's Con. I think he's already had like 2 or 3 posts of different shots that he's doing. So he's definitely getting right back into the creative space.
Yeah, I think what's great about the what Legions has created with photography, it's just the amazing the poses you can get, and Trevor does amazing work, but you see some artists out there that are just taking these poses, and you're like, it's amazing how they're able to get these kind of really awesome photographs with these toys. You almost forget that they're toys completely. So it's pretty cool what this is created.
Looks like oh nope.
Uh-oh. We're going.
That's not Curtis. Curtis just quit the show.
He's done. I said too much already. And he's gone.
Let me bring the slides back in. Sorry about that. Looks like Curtis is having some difficult technical situations tonight.
All right. Well,
so I did want to point that.
This is all part of my plan to just make it a show about you and me. So I think it's working.
Okay. Perfect. Let's see here. Get these slides back in while we're waiting for Curtis.
Okay.
It's going to take a minute to load these back in, but the head, that base, that diorama underneath those pictures, we'll have it back up here in a minute, was one of Carver Customs dios. So it was cool that Rygon's got all that stuff, fresh out of the show and ready to go already.
Yeah, I didn't get to see a lot of the show. We were at the booth so much, but I know next year we're going to try to plan to have us each get a time to kind of circle the floor, because the booth was just busy the whole day. I knew the fans would be out there, but it was like 9 to as soon as it closed, and then the retails. It was amazing. So the outpouring of support was just incredible.
That's awesome. Well, let's hold off on the shelf selection until Curtis gets back. Oh, he's back.
Oh, and he's
All
back.
right, let's try this again.
It's all right.
I got the slides in, Curtis. You don't have to bring them in.
Okay. I unplugged the speakers, plugged them back in. I think we're going good now. So, all right. So yeah, good job, Rygon. Next is Jesse's.
So this is PL Toy Box Photography. Of course, it's some of that hot freshness coming out of Cosmic Book 2.
Yeah.
With Aes Petrion. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he's got some like Egyptian elements going on here, the obelisks and stuff. And just that gold cosmic key that he's got as the necklace floating up onto that chest. Just I just thought this looked really cool. It gave me some, like kind of like a darker Fifth Element vibe. So I just thought that was really cool.
That's really well done.
Yeah, I love this shot. It actually looks like with the hand motion he's got there, like he's like raising it up out of that chest or whatever. Totally. Like it looks like it's elevating, and then the the smoke and stuff with the light is very it's kind of Raiders of the Lost Ark-ish.
Oh, there you go. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, big time.
I wonder if that is a Ark of the Covenant from one of the Indiana Jones sets.
It could be from that new line. That's right, because they have so many accessories. The Build-A-Figures, like the Build-A.
What was the Build an Artifact or whatever they're calling it?
Yeah. So it could be that. It looks really good.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Good shot. Good pick, Jesse. So that's at PL Toy Box Photography. That is Pablo. Next one here I've got. This is at Realm of Toys 89. Just a really cool shot with the new blood armor. I kind of love you got a little bit of the smoke in the background, but it's also got like this purple tint to it. And just the lighting and the motion of, he's on a mission there. He's going for something. So I really, when they first showed this, and this isn't a shot at Trevor. I love Trevor. It's not, the whole pictures don't do it justice, but I will say when they first showed this thing, the blood armor, I was like, I like it. I think it's a cool figure, but I still like the original blood armor better. I don't know, man. This thing's pretty freaking good. It's really nice. And like all three heads are cool. So it's one of those where it's like, you don't even know which head to use.
That's why you have to get multiple. That's the whole point.
There you go. And I mean, based on the story, I mean, it can be multiple different people throughout time. So it's not a bad thing to have multiple ones, but just thought this was a really cool shot here.
Yeah, I often find that sometimes the picture, Trevor takes great pictures, but sometimes if the lighting is slightly different, it looks a little different when you get it in person. And sometimes that's for the better. You get it, you're like, oh, wow, it's cool. When I see it in person, now I want it even more. So I think that's happened with a couple figures. But yeah, this is a great shot. It's almost like a Darth Vader walking towards you, just ready to, cut through some bad guys, some good guys.
It's kind of like pizza, right? Like you see a picture of pizza and you're like, oh, I know that's going to be good. But then you get to actually eat it and taste it. It's like, oh man, that's so much better than the picture.
It's better than I imagined.
Well, we when we first moved out here to the St. Louis area, me and my wife were looking at a bunch of houses, and there was this guy that was doing videos of the houses. And every video he would start off with, now keep in mind, the videos don't show depth. And it kind of became like this running joke in the house, but it is true. Like the torso on that blood armor, like you can't get the full grasp of the depth of the indentions and all the different sculptural elements from a picture. Like you have to kind of get it in hand and look at it with your eyes and see, kind of the 3-dimensional space of it. So it's just, it's why I always say, if you want to make somebody a Legions fan, put one of these in their hands. That's like the best way to do it. So,
and a cool thing, if you have the original Vorgus, you could maybe put on this vampire helmet. So that's like when he first puts it on. And then the new closed off face helmet could be like, as it's consumed him more or however the story goes, it's just, it's really cool. Yeah. It looks, Dorklayer Bill is in the chat. So it looks like he's doing okay.
Okay, good. He is alive. He's
not been fully consumed at this point.
And the other thing, and I don't know, maybe this is just wishful thinking, but based on the way that they wrote the story, that the armor modifies itself as it goes on and absorbs more life. Like this is one that I would be happy to see like a version 3, a version 4.
You keep
You know what I'm saying? Like
it and seeing what the new version might look like and see how it grows. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a popular enough figure that I think, you know, if you released one of these, like let's say every couple years or so, I don't think people would be too upset.
Yeah.
You know, with some new upgrades. So
yeah.
Anywho, next one is Jesse's.
Ooh.
So this is I left the caption in there because this is a Lee Zaku paint job and I believe custom, but it was on the Planetary Dog Forge page.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love that kind of diorama in the background of either a lit up or burning castle. I believe that's like a real place.
Okay.
That just in the photograph, maybe it's been edited or but I just thought that was really cool. It gives me strong Kingdom of Heaven vibes with the Templars. Obviously it's a king, so it's not quite in that, but I just all those extra soft goods. I didn't read the whole caption to see where all that stuff came from, but
yeah, there's
that's
a
just
lot
an impressive looking figure. And it was a Templar, so I figured Curtis would I'd get some brownie points with Curtis for picking
yeah, and I mean these are I believe I'm like 99% positive that's a Max Bird set. They've got some really good Templar stuff. That head obviously is from Planetary Dog. Yeah, it's really good paint job, really good custom. And yeah, who doesn't love Templars? So
what are the accessories from? Do you know? Because it has like a book and it has a look like a little Bible. That looks amazing too. I mean,
that I'm not sure.
Loaded out.
Yeah, I'm not
because
sure
they're
where
like
those come
on
from.
chains. I know Planetary Dog Forge does have a bunch of like smaller like belt attachment accessories like that. I don't want to 100% say that those are from them if it's wrong. So, but yeah, if you go to the Planetary Dog Forge or even the at Lee Zaku, I'm sure you can find some more details on that. And don't worry, I did go back and like the picture after I screenshot it.
Greg said the Max Bird set comes with all that. So I think
cool.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know they've got several different sets for the regular Templars, for the Dark Templars.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of different varieties they have. So yeah, cool stuff.
I feel like that's a new purchase for you in the future, Curtis.
You know what? I may actually have a set of that in my soft goods. Like I bought so much stuff for them
already.
I've got like a box like this big that's just full of soft goods that I haven't used.
Within a year of you being on this show, I'm not saying the show did it to you, but like you were kind of like, nah, soft goods are for dolls, and now it's like I've got so many soft goods I don't even know what I have anymore.
Listen, I have always loved the capes and stuff. I just don't like the biggest gripe for me is when they're fully decked out in soft goods, like especially like the superheroes where it looks like pajamas,
like the Mezco stuff. I know some people.
Yeah, the material just doesn't do it for me. So, but one other thing I wanted to say about the Templars, because I know there's some people that are very pro Templar and some people that are very like, I don't want that in my legions. And obviously I'm a very pro Templar guy, but I just thought it was funny because I know LeBron is one of those where he's like, I really don't like that in my mythos and all this and that. And then he takes his son to Legion's Con and his son got like a whole bunch of Templars, which I think is just hilarious.
Whoops.
Yeah.
I should have known that's where you were going to go. Like, you're not going to say, you're going to turn this into a dig on somebody somehow.
Oh, I just thought it was great. I was
lining it up, right?
I was like, yes, stick it to late night. I don't know. I got my wife doing that, so I think I'm fine. All right. So next one is mine. This is at 1/10 Toy Fan. And they had a couple different shots in a row. So it had one with like Valak, and then they had this shot here with the arrow through the eye of the Xylernian guard. And I don't know. I just thought it was cool. Like anytime that you can take out one of those Xylona flock hippies, that's
those are awesome figures. Come on.
Man. Yeah. Take the Vamps taking out those tree huggers. So
I picked a nice Templar picture to show Curtis some appreciation.
I know.
And not only, I mean, like you could have just left it alone. He's like, oh, this is cool, but no, you have to get mean.
Gotta get the dig in there. Gotta get the dig.
Well, I offset it because I made a critter this week, so I had to.
Is it in your Xylona's flock?
No, he's in my.
Okay, then no, that doesn't.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Especially if it's Christmas. No, this is a great shot. I do love that, you've got the top of the head cropped off on Valak. Like it feels like a very in scene like moment as he's coming into the foreground. And yeah, that's really cool.
Well, I like to think that he was like the Xylurian guard was facing him, got shot in the eye, spun around, and then just kind of fell like that. Yeah, just kind of cool. So next one is Jesse's.
Like Vern was saying about not getting around, I did not get around most of the show, which it kind of stinks, but it was just so much fun talking to everybody that was coming by the table, and it was cool to talk to the few people's tables I did get to. I never made it to Eric Miller's table or Giovanni Bly's table, and they were the two, like I had said, were on my list of ones I had to get to try to pick something up from them this year.
Yeah, they do dope. They both do dope work. Yeah.
I mean, everybody there does so impressive stuff, but but when I saw him post this before I even read it, I was like, ooh, that's like a supersized Figment. Because I absolutely love that character. The look of him. So seeing this and seeing what he did here was just so much fun. And just his color work, just everything he does just like pops so vibrantly, but it doesn't look like, it all looks like it would fit in with the rest of Legions, even though it's bright colors,
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is really cool. I mean, I kind of like the same thing that you're saying. I didn't get to see most of the con. I probably only saw maybe about 20% of it. But that 20% took like 200% of my money. So
they were happy.
Yeah. So I'm kind of glad I didn't see the rest. But I'll be honest. I really think it could be a 3-day con. I really think they could start that thing right after G-Con on Friday. Like if you were able to do setup like Thursday night, I think they could start that thing right after G-Con on Friday and run it through Sunday. There's just because there was a lot of folks that at Sunday they were still like, man, I still haven't seen everything. I want to get around. And I know the Horseman line never stopped. Like that was just like, people were going through and then they'd turn around and go right back through again. So
especially I think would help with
I don't know. I think it's getting close to that time where we could, talk about extending that a bit.
Listen, I mean, it's like you said, the line never stopped. And then once people started hearing about the Valiant Night, people were like, oh, wait, what? I'm going to go. And it was this. I mean, me, Cookie, and Greg, we put them out. And almost as soon as we were putting them out, people were just taking them out of our hands. I mean, it was such a cool surprise, to have the fans, be going through the line and then be like, what's this? Like, oh, Valiant Night. They're like, what? You've never done it before, take one and you get back in line. And it was just to see the reaction to that was incredible because people were totally thrown off and weren't ready for it. And it was just kind of on the table, but not like announced. So for people to see it, they were just like, this is amazing. And all the reviews for it have been just the articulation, and it's just like another level. So people have been really, I think that helped keep the line flowing. I know we were working till it closed,
I don't know. The only thing I see is just because of the way, if they do G-Con at the hotel again next year, that room would be used, so that room wouldn't be able to be set up. But maybe they move something in there that could be shut down during the Friday night while that's setting up. And the regular vendors, like, I don't know, maybe put all the Horseman stuff over there.
I know the thing,
and like all like the official studio stuff. That way they can close out G-Con. They can sit up there in private and nobody's in there.
Yeah.
The other room can be set up and open for a couple hours Friday night. That way the vendors are ready to go.
Yeah.
And you get where does he, Trevor saying, preview night, have a couple hours Friday night where people can come in and, check out. And then you don't have to worry about the Horseman table getting ransacked because it would be in the other room.
Yeah. No, we're thinking about different ways to set up the layout so that there's some more opportunities for like seeing this stuff earlier or something. Cause I know that, I know I heard that from a lot of people. I wanted to get around to see people, but I didn't have a chance. And, it's become such a big event. I think there's an opportunity definitely to have people get some more vendors or something like that.
And they close fairly early in the day. Like I as a vendor, I wouldn't mind standing around another hour or two. Not, significantly longer, but another hour or two, that
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that myself.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, so we already got the place locked up, so we'll lined up for next
Yeah.
year. So we'll see how it goes.
Bill told me this on Sunday that he was like on a mission to try to get to every single table,
Yeah.
to at least take some photos and stuff.
That's
And he says he still only made it through 2/3 of the tables. I mean, so yeah, I mean, even if you have that goal of trying to get to everything, it's tough in that time period.
Because it's conversations, right? You're talking, you stop at a table, you're talking with someone for 15
Yeah.
minutes. If there are 20, 30 tables, you're going to get to 2 tables in an hour or whatever. So it ends up being like, you can't just take a picture and move on, because you want to say, oh, you ask questions, you're learning about the person, you're learning about the custom, thinking about stuff for yourself. So it's tough to just kind of click and move on, unless you got like a non-mythic person to come in and like take pictures of everything, to be like, that's the kind of where they wouldn't be as interested as opposed to us, who are like, oh, what's that? How did this come together? As a half-hour conversation, and you've seen one person.
It's almost like you need to split the room in half and have like 2 YouTubers, like have like Hedgehog take one side, have Bill take the other, and try to hit every single table, and then like
you got this half, I got that half,
and then, it or something, and But back to this photo. I mean, Eric, obviously, I mean, we know Eric kills it all the time.
Yeah.
I know there were some people disappointed. There was quite a few things there that he had that he wasn't selling. But I also get it as an artist. Like, sometimes you're just really attached to some of the stuff that you make. But this one is really cool. I love the colors on it. And it's kind of ambitious, doing a full body repaint on an expensive figure like this, and a big figure. So really cool.
That's a real investment. Yeah.
And then this is my last one, and this one I think is kind of exciting for me. This is Darth Nostalgic on Instagram, and this is his first paint job on Legions. And I had a couple really good conversations with him at Legions Con. He was asking me some things about different types of paint and paint brushes and getting into this. And then he came over to my table and we talked a little bit more, and I gave him some parts, and I know Len put together a little like care package for him. And he went home and this was the first thing that he painted for Legions. So, we've talked about it with the painted up contest. We've talked about it through the shelf selections and things like that. But anytime that you can get another person into this hobby, whether it's painting or photography or sculpting or whatever, just being in that creative space is so much fun, and the community is so much fun that it's just really exciting. So this one made me really happy. And not only that, but I think he did a really good job. Like, the details on here are really crisp for a first paint job. So.
Yeah, I saw this on Facebook, I think yesterday or Friday, and I was just like, oh, that's really cool. At first, I thought it was one of the painted up winners, and then I realized it wasn't, but I didn't know that whole story. So that's really cool that you guys hooked him up like that. And of course you did, because that's what this group does.
It pulls people in who maybe didn't want to do painting, but because you see it, like, let me give it a try, and then all of a sudden you find yourself with a shelf full of things that you're painting and you're working on. You want to see, keep pushing yourself. So that's something I think you see a lot of people who maybe, like, I used to paint in the past. I painted a lot. I used to do custom action figures and that kind of thing that I sold on eBay. And so when this line came out, I don't have as many things customized now because I don't have as much time, but I have a bunch of parts that I'm ready to, I know what I want to do with that. I want to make it this figure and then paint it a little bit and have just a small bit of paint. I have a Dremel, so I don't have a lot, but sometimes just that little bit to make it more of your figure is huge. And that's why I think people love the line.
Yeah, you start with some rivets or some lines in the armor or whatever, and those things can really make it pop. So
make it pop. That's all.
Yeah, there was another gentleman. I haven't seen him post anything yet, but he came over to my table, and he was. I had a little kind of a death, a Grim Reaper type figure that I had put together. And he was asking me about the soft goods, and it was a combination of some different soft goods that I had. And he was asking if I would sell those individually rather than selling the full custom. And I said, no, it kind of comes together. And he was telling me that, he's just getting into toy photography and stuff. And I asked him what his Instagram handle was, and he said he didn't have one. He said, I don't do anything on Instagram or Facebook right now. I just kind of email my photos to people and see what they think. I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I said, I'm going to give you this figure. I'm going to give you this custom, but I expect you to go home and create an Instagram, and I want you to start posting your photos on Instagram and let me know when you do. And we're going to throw you on shelf selections. So, you know, and he was very touched for sure. But you know, that's the thing, like just try to get more people into this community, especially if they're showing an interest already. Like, yeah. So
and don't get overwhelmed because there's so many, you know, there's levels of talent in every field, you know, in football, in whatever, you know, whatever you're doing, there's someone who's going to be really good and someone who's just going to be starting out. So you got to start somewhere. So, you know, you can just do a little bit of, like you said, the rivets or something small that just makes a figure pop and it makes it your own. And that's how it starts.
Yep.
And I was going to say, if you go back to that one real quick,
okay,
if this is the first, I don't know if it's the first mythics he's customized or the first anything he's customized. I'm not sure where that
I think he said first mythic one that he's painted.
Okay. Well, I mean, either way, like, watch out.
Yeah.
Like, he's on his way.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
That's a great starting point.
And then Jesse's got this one from some new and upcoming photographer, I think.
Yeah. So
potential. I see potential.
Trevor,
there is definitely a little potential.
I had to pick this one. I know I've not been very vocal about liking Noble Bear. Not that I dislike them, but it's always been my favorite. But my family nickname is Bear since the day I was born. My oldest brother was like, "Oh, you look like a hairy little bear," and it just stuck. So, of course, this picture is awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about this wave coming up in a couple weeks with some folks. But yeah, this shot I just think is absolutely epic. Just the bear, the way they got the mountains and the snow in the foreground.
Yeah.
I mean, Atlas could be on there or not, doesn't really matter. But yeah, this bear, no, it's great. I love it, and I cannot wait for this wave to come out.
Yeah, I mean, and on top of this, like, it was really cool this year being an intern and having Trevor, not knowing what we were going to see at GCon the next day, having Trevor show us some things with, you know, how he does some of these photos, like the snow photos, and how he, you know, like what he does with Photoshop versus which effects are actually in the shot initially. And so he was showing us some of that stuff, and then to see it the next day at GCon and be like, oh, okay, so that's how he did this and that's how he did that. And see it come out looking like this was absolutely amazing. So yeah, great job for Trevor. He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
He might have a future ahead of him. I can see it. It's funny though, because seeing this, you know, seeing it in person and seeing the reaction to it, and having seen it, you know, being painted in the process, you're just like, it's just like you said, the pictures almost don't do it justice, especially when you see it standing up, and you're like, what? This is a bear that stands? I mean, that's just like another level of like thinking about it creatively, because it could have been just a, you know, on its paws and everything done. But it's like, no, bears stand up, and they, you know, that's part of what they do. So to have that feature and have it come out so good, and it's just, yeah, I can't. This is one of the ones that, you know, I like mounts. I have a couple of McFarlane dragons, not the dragons, like the Fortnite winged creatures in my display and stuff. So I kind of like those, and I have a few other ones. But you know, this I was like, oh, a bear, a fully articulated bear, interchangeable heads. Sign me up for a couple.
Yep.
And that is it for shelf selections.
There we go.
Very cool.
Let's swap us back around here. There we go. Quick shout out. I don't remember who is new, and since we mentioned, but all those who've joined in the chats since we called everybody out, welcome. Thanks for being here. And yeah, so Vernon. So before we get into some other things, you want to talk about your book now or later?
We can talk now. I mean, that's cool. We have the books here, and we can talk about and another book that I just got the other day. So yes. So I am an author. Some of you know me as Cool Minivan Dad. I've written 2 books. One was called When Good Fruit Goes Bad, which is a great book about eating healthy, creating less waste, and knowing that you have value even with your bumps and bruises. It's kind of about a piece of fruit that takes over a fruit store, and it's mad because it gets thrown in the garbage. You get an apple and has a little brown spot, and instead of cutting the piece off, you throw the whole thing in the garbage sometimes. Or a banana is a little brown, toss it out. And my son had wanted to throw out a banana years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago. And I was like, no, you can use it for a smoothie. You're like, that's not garbage. I was like, you know what? That'd be a good story, because I think there are a lot of people out there who just throw fruit away. So, thank you, Trevor. He bought some of the books as well. So I wrote a book. I did the illustrations. I did all the illustrations by hand with my cousin, and he did all the edits and everything like that, and the coloring and formatting. So that was done through on Amazon. And then we had our second book, which is that you both have. I'm Dreaming of a Brown Christmas, which is kind of a reimagining of the song White Christmas. We all know White Christmas is about snow and the beauty of snow. And we said, you know what if we take that and kind of think about the brown things, about cocoa, about cookies, about presents, about people. And it really is celebrating people of all shades. And it really is, even if you're not Christian, it's celebrating kind of the real reason for the season is being with other people. Like you said before, reaching out to someone that you maybe haven't heard from in a while. Just if they pop into your head, shoot them a text, like, hey, just thinking about you, want to see how you're doing. And sometimes that'll brighten someone's day. And that's what I think the holidays are about. Christmas is great, and I love getting gifts. I won a PlayStation 5 so I can get Spider-Man 2. I don't know if I've been good enough, but we'll see. But so these were just two books that we were inspired to do. And I do a lot of school readings and everything. So it's been really just part of my journey as being a stay-at-home dad. These kind of came out of that. So
you said being a stay-at-home dad. So what, I feel like you just answered that question, so I don't know how to phrase it now.
Like what prompted you to be?
Not what prompted you to be a stay-at-home dad, but like you said you did both of these with your cousin?
He did the illustrations on the Christmas book. He's not professionally trained. He went to a technical high school, but
he's really good.
Thank you.
The artwork is gorgeous.
Yeah. He did an amazing job, and again, it was just he showed me a couple sketches, and then he told me the idea. I was like, that's a great idea. We're going to make this book, and it was a Kickstarter. Before I was inspired by all the other Kickstarters I had seen. The Horseman had a couple successful ones. So we said, if we want to do this book the way you see it, so it'll look nice, we said, let's ask for $8,000 to print 2,000 copies. And we ended up raising 11,000. So it was amazing, to have that success and see this feedback on it. And it's growing every year. We've sold a little over probably 2,000 copies over the last couple of years, and we're trying to get into more stores and just get into the hands of people who appreciate it. So it's been really, really happy with what's been happening.
You were talking about like school readings and stuff.
Yes.
Are schools actually putting this in like their libraries and things like that?
Yes, some schools will take it and buy a copy just for their library. Some will say, some schools will say, oh, we want to buy 50 copies to give out to this grade level or that, or the fruit book especially. I'll get calls from schools. Oh, can you do readings for? Because the fruit book is more like kindergarten through about 3rd or 4th grade. By 5th grade, they're kind of like, it's kind of silly. But the younger kids love the story. They love the animals. I also do a drawing exercise where I teach the kids how to draw the Hank Huckleberry character. So I teach them like, okay, he's simple shapes. He's circles. He's this letter, all these different letters. Oh, he's an M. So the M is his eyebrow. So I do this whole thing where by the end, they've drawn the character from the book. So it's a great little takeaway. So they get to hear me read. They also get to learn how to draw. And I'm like, hey, you could be competition for me. Go out there and draw your own book. And I kind of teach them that process. So that's one of the best parts of the whole thing.
I gotta say, I distinctly remember, I don't remember who the author was, but I remember in 4th grade, someone came to our school and did like a reading, and there's like, anybody who wants to, thinks they might want to be an author when they grow up, we'll have like, you can go to the library or whatever extra room and go talk to them for a little bit. And I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. I don't want to go to my next class. So I went in there and but I remember just being so inspired. She didn't do the whole drawing thing, which I think is really cool. I think that's a really cool interactive way to get them into it, where you get into the creative side.
Yeah.
Even if the mind's not processing the writing part of it yet, like that creating and storytelling side is really cool.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
I found that really connected. It was just one day I was just, because as I was drawing, I'm like, it's pretty easy to draw, especially the fruit book. And I was like, you know what, maybe kids, especially at that age, they can draw circles, they can draw letters. So I'm like, okay, I'll teach them how to draw it. And they're like, they show me the picture at the end and they're so happy. I tell them to sign it like you're an artist now. So it's a whole, half hour of like the reading and then talking about what fruits would they like. So it just ends up being a really fun experience. So the schools have been really good about getting back to me and having me come in to do readings and come back year after year. So it's been fun.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
And so I shared a link.
Both those are on Amazon, right?
Yeah, they're both on Amazon. So if you look up both books, When Good Fruit Goes Bad or I'm Dreaming of a Brown Christmas, they're both on Amazon in hardcover. The Christmas book is hardcover and paperback. The hardcover is superior, much better, has foil stamping, and the hardcover is just better, for the longevity. And then the fruit book is in paperback. And then
I shared the link. I don't know if it's clicking in the chat, but if you look for the Just Shelve It, I did it in the chat comments. So it's in there, folks. I actually looked up I'm Dreaming of a Brown Christmas and it had your name highlighted. So I clicked on your name and it showed both books. Nice,
perfect.
And simple.
Oh, cool.
So
awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Greg is saying Vern has the coolest jobs. He hears me talking about what I do all the time. Every time he comes in, he's either hearing about that or about the 8 practices I have to go to for my kids. I have 3 kids. So twins, Sophia and Jackson, who are boy-girl twins, and then a 10-year-old boy. So soccer season just ended this weekend. So they're sad, but I'm kind of happy.
A little bit of a break.
Yeah, they're taking a break. It's just a lot of running around, but I was a coach on Sophia's team. That's my daughter's team. So that was fun. They got to the playoffs, but didn't get to the finals. But, it was a good season and just nice. One of the reasons I became a stay-at-home dad, when in 2018, when the twins were born, was because my wife is a doctor and we were looking at schools in the city and we're like, what, school for all of them is going to be very expensive. Or if the kids, once the kids are born, paying for a nanny, pretty much my salary was going to be going to a nanny. And, I was like, you know what? I'll be a stay-at-home father. I'll take care of them for the first couple of years before they go to school. And if you can do it, it's not the right thing financially for everyone, but if you can afford it, I would say do it because it was just a great experience to be home with my kids, taking them to school, changing diapers, the whole thing. I mean, when you're in the midst of it, you're like, oh, this is terrible, this is bad, but those moments when it's calm and everything is going well and that you're helping raise them, it's just really nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this up real quick because Nate's asking, did you self-publish, use a publisher, or go through the Amazon service? So for all the books, they're all self-published. So we for the fruit book, we uploaded it to Ingram Spark, which is like an online, similar to Amazon KDP, where you upload your file and they make it available for people to print it. It's pretty much print on demand with the fruit book. So someone orders it, Amazon prints it, sends it to the person. I don't have to do any shipping, and I get a check. If I sell 10, I'll get a check for a couple bucks. If I sell 100, I'll get a bigger check. It's not that much, but at least I don't have to handle any of the shipping. And then the Christmas book was printed through an actual printer. So we printed 2,000 copies, and about half of them went to the Kickstarter people, and the rest of them we've just been selling or giving away and doing those kinds of things. So those were printed in bulk. So we printed 2,000 of those. The fruit book, I have maybe 50 copies here of my own, but anytime someone wants one, they order it, print it, and it gets shipped. Very cool.
So so no publisher yet.
I'm glad Nate asked that because I'm working on that. Hopefully, I'll have my book self-published and printed in time for Legions Con next year. So
awesome! Yeah. It's a once you get the process started and kind of get everything set up, it's really pretty easy. Upload the files and then it's kind of made available within 24 hours.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Let me know if you have any questions.
Okay. Did you talk to? I'm blanking on his name. Was it Khalid? That had his book at the con?
No, was it the creations? Was it the not the art book? Was it another book?
No, he had like 2 books. It's like a fantasy adventure series.
No, I didn't get to
Nate and Trevor. He was on the Legions Lounge a couple weeks before the con, and I saw his table. I had run over there real quick, I think, to take a picture with Curtis and the guys at the OffWorld table. I'm like, oh, I got to come back and look at your stuff. I wanted to get your books, and then the con was over. I'm like, I never got his book.
What happened? It goes by fast, right? You're thinking,
yes.
There's the name. Okay.
He's like that dang Jesse. He was full of it. He was not coming back.
Well, I wanted to talk to him because I didn't want to just try to like get the scoop on how do I publish my book. I just wanted to see, talk to about that side and everything. And well, maybe we'll get him on here at some point after I get his books and read them.
Yeah.
I You might have missed it, but I believe Cookie, he said something about it being very rewarding, and he's happy to spend time with his kids. So you might have missed that part of it.
Tell Cookie in the chat that I can take away his Thanksgiving invite. All right, he was invited to our house, and the kids were like, "What's Cookie?" Because the kids were like, "What is Cookie doing?" I'm like, "Why are you asking about Cookie?" It's like, "Oh, you know, I don't think he has any plans." Like, "Oh, invite him over." So he's been invited to the house, so he's coming over, but it can be taken away.
Between Cookie's comment and this comment from Greg, when you tell him his schedule, he's tired for you. Like you seem like you're full of so much energy right now. So like I mean, you were busting your butt at the con. The couple times I saw you were like pushing carts full of figures, like stacked.
I got to keep the energy up. The kids keep me young, but they keep me tired. So it's a balancing act. But yeah, you know, it's I think that's one of the reasons that, you know, being a stay-at-home dad has been a better fit for me than for my wife, just because, you know, you have to have a certain amount of energy and just be like, okay, I got to go do this. I got to schedule this. I have a calendar that's like the size of like I don't know, just a really big box, and it sits on the table. It has all their schedule. I sent Cookie, I think, a picture of it one time, and he was just so blown away by the stuff I had cut out. Oh, we're not doing that anymore. It got moved to here. This got, it's a three birthday parties. Oh, soccer practice. Oh, choir, piano. So they do a lot of stuff, which is, of course, by choice. You know, it's not like we're forcing them. They want to do these things, and I'm happy that they're good, because it's just good for their growth. You know, it's good for them to be hanging out with other kids and just be active and, you know, going, playing soccer, getting exercise, all those things you just need growing up. So they kind of naturally are drawn to it. So, you know, if they want to all play on a team, then I'll figure out a way to get to all their practices and, you know, schedule it, you know, so it's that kind of thing. So it can be tiring, but yeah, I do exhaust them when I go through my schedule. They're like, what? Like, stop talking.
So on top of, you know, being stay at home with the kids and working on books, you also find time to work with the studio. So yes. Can you talk to us a little bit about how that started and what actually you're doing there?
Yeah. So it's funny because it just started by me seeing, I think, Joe at the conventions all the time. And, you know, me just chatting him up, like, how you doing? I love the toys. And this was 3 or 4 years ago, I think. I would chat Joe V up at the conventions, and had just started becoming a stay-at-home dad. And I said, you know what? At that point, I think I had just done the fruit book. And I said, you know what? Since I'm a stay-at-home dad, I have a lot of free time. You know, I'm doing laundry, cooking, doing other things. But if you ever need someone in the studio just to help, I have a marketing background. I used to work at the NBA for 4.5 years. So I did basketball marketing. I used to go to games. Yeah, so it was great for 5 years till about 2008. So I have that. That's my background. I have an architecture background, which is why I'm so into art. I went to Columbia for art, architecture. That's why I like to draw and those kinds of things. So every once in a while, I'll do like small dials or whatever for my customs. That's about it. So I connected with Joe, told him, hey, I'm available if you need me. And I would always tell him that whenever I was around. I wasn't like pushy. I was like, oh, you know, get me in there, whatever. I was just like, hey, you need someone to help with anything, shipping, marketing, whatever. Let's do it. And then Chris, out of nowhere, called me when they were doing, I think it was first reinforcements. It had like the Templar and a couple other figures. And Chris is like, oh, Joe told me to reach out to you. We were doing shipping and we need some help. Do you want to come in? I'm like, sure, that works for me. You know, I'm not one to be like, oh, it's shipping, I'm too good. You know, sometimes people are like, oh, I'm too good for shipping. I have an Ivy League education. I'm like, no, I want to be in the midst of how toys and that process. I just want to be around it because I've always been into toys. So I was like, yeah, I want to be there and I want to do it. So I kept going in there whenever I had free time, and it's kind of led to me being there whenever things are shipping, whenever a trailer comes in, and I'm there, you know, as many hours as I can be. But they give me the flexibility. They know that I have 3 kids and I have to pick them up from school. So they're very flexible with me coming in, you know, 9 to like 2:30, 3 o'clock if I'm available. And then, you know, other times and helping out with the convention. So it's really been great.
Very cool.
Yeah. And what do I do? Oh, what do I do? Basically helping with the shipping. You know, the shipping has been, you know, I'm in there with Cookie and Dustin and Greg when he's there, you know, just helping out. Think so. An energy vampire. Greg's always got something to say. So yes, I'm helping with the shipping. So when you see stuff going out, it's me, Cookie, Greg, all putting this stuff together, making sure the orders are right, and shipping it out to you, making sure it's packaged nicely. Getting stuff together in the warehouse, getting things prepared for Legion's Con to ship out. So it's just a lot of that work that kind of goes on behind the scenes to make sure that you guys are getting the right toys, getting not a toy where the head is loose or is missing something. We try our best. It's all kind of done by hand. It's not like there are 50 of us in there. And if you did, there's more room for error. If you had a bunch of people who were doing it as opposed to a couple people who really know the toys well, which really helps. So mainly that kind of stuff. Maybe at some point I'll do some marketing help or whatever in the future. But for right now, it's the shipping and organizing and that kind of thing, which has been fun.
Very cool.
You should tell Jeremy that you can help out with the book a little bit.
Hey, listen. I don't want to listen from one author to another. I'll let him do his thing. If he needs me, I'm here.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the book. I know it's a lot of writing, and it's going to be hopefully some great art and everything, which it'll be. So I'm looking forward to it. So if he wants to take the book on, I'm like, I'm good. I got 3 kids. I got
you got enough on your plate, huh? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's a good like work home balance sense, because like for me, it's like someone's like, hey, do you want to help with this thing? I'm like, yeah. It's like the next person comes like, hey, you want to help with this thing? Yeah. Oh shoot, I just agreed to like help with like 15 things.
Yeah, I should have said not yeah so many things.
Because everything sounds cool. I just want to be a part of everything because they sound cool.
Exactly.
So yeah, I got to take some of those lessons.
Yeah,
I'm like that. I'm like that with YouTube streams. So I just say yes. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
Just do you want to be on such and such night? Of course. I have no idea what I'm doing, but yeah.
I haven't told you when it is or what it's about. That's fine.
That's whatever.
Curse is messaging me while he's watching our Have You Ever from Offworld yesterday. And he couldn't be an hour into it. And next thing you know, I'm watching Saturday Night Live or Saturday day night, whatever. The Ryan and Eric and at night. And we're talking about the movie, and I was like, just watch the movie. And he's like, okay. Next thing you know, boop, he pops up on the screen. I'm like, wait, you're supposed to be watching a movie right now.
What is happening?
I needed a break. The movie was too intense.
I got accused of, he's like, don't you like comedy? Do you not like to laugh?
Yeah, like the last 4 things he's recommended to me have been like super brutal. And it's like, oh my God, like I just got home from Legion's Con, and I'm trying to keep away the Legion's Con blues, and you're just like, you're recommending movies where there's so much death and despair. And I'm like,
I wanted to wait and recommend it this coming Friday on the show, but you wanted to do it this
You
week.
should never recommend it. I don't want to spoil it, but you should just never. But here's the thing, and this is why I kind of want to bring it back to the book real quick.
Yeah,
because like this time of year, I just like reading or watching heartwarming stuff, like stuff with where you've got people in it with good hearts, or it's teaching a good lesson. And that's why I love Christmas movies so much. And this does that for me. Like when I read your book here, it's one of those good heart stories it makes me happy. And this is that time of year where I just want to watch more of that stuff and read more of that stuff. And
the Hallmark Channel is your friend then, because I think they're doing 24 hours. I think they either start or they start right like after Thanksgiving, like 24 hours of movies. I mean, they made a whole market of just Christmas movies. It's wild that they have so many. You go online, like, how could there be so many stories about a girl who's going back to her high school and meeting her college love and this? How many times can they do it? A lot, apparently.
Did you see the one I don't know if it was Saturday Night Live or someone just did one where it was like Hallmark Channel is now we're getting all the holidays, so they did like a Halloween one.
Oh,
so it's like the same thing. Like the city girl goes back to her country town.
Yeah,
she falls in love with this guy, but he's like a serial killer. So he keeps talking about how he's going to kill her, but like it's got all the same tropes as those.
All the same, all the corny stuff.
But she's like, I don't know. He's just.
And then he gets mad. Yeah. Gets mad at one point. He's like, I don't even know if I want to kill you anymore.
Yeah.
Yes. That could work.
It's like we were doing the OffWorld the other night. We were doing the This Week in Theaters, and
I didn't recommend Curly Sue, Trevor. I did not.
I recommend it. I made
Curly Sue.
Listen, I went to go rent Curly Sue to have my family watch it yesterday. That was our family movie of the night. Because we do that every weekend. We do like a family movie. And I went to go rent it, and I'm like, oh, for $5 more, I can buy it. I was like, I'm just gonna buy it, and then we can make them watch this every Christmas, every year.
Never.
Yeah. And I will tell you, I played it, and the kids and my wife all liked it. So for all those Curly Sue haters out there, my family liked it. So
I don't think I've ever seen it, so I can't say I don't like it and give you any crap for it. So
I remember it, but I don't remember watching it. I remember it.
Yeah,
I don't remember watching it at all.
Is John Goodman in it?
It's got Jim Belushi.
Belushi.
Yeah. And it's just one of those where it starts out, it's kind of a Christmassy thing where it's like people start out kind of one way and doing things that are a little shady. And then by the end, they're like good people and doing the right things. And yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
August Rush. There you go, Curtis.
My charger from
August Rush.
I'll be right back. My computer's actually dying. I thought it was plugged in. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah.
August Rush. It's not intense like The Power of One. It does have an emotional story, but it by the end of that movie, you should feel good.
As long as nobody like gets ripped in half, or there's not like.
That's a horror movie. That was a horror movie recommendation. I did not. There was no. I didn't even said it was one of the most brutal scenes I've ever seen. So like. I was not a holiday recommend. Well, it was not a Thanksgiving Christmas holiday recommendation.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, I mean, I'm excited because this Friday, I think we're going to be kind of doing some of that on OffWorld. We're going to be talking about some holiday traditions for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and probably some movies that we like to watch this time of year. So I think that'll be fun. But yeah. Like I said, I thought that was a perfect tie-in with his book because for those of you that haven't read this, just a really great story. And it, you read this and you're like, oh, that's cool. It reminds me, I know Emil did a children's book, and he did it initially in Swedish, and just recently he did a translation on his YouTube into English. And another one where it was like really good, like it talked about they talked about bringing joy to others, and like how much that how rewarding it can be. And so like stuff like that, I eat that up, man. So it's one of those where it's like the more good you put in, hopefully the more good you put out, kind of thing. So yeah,
that's the hope, right? Yeah. So and I think something we did with the Christmas book is that we wanted it to, sometimes you have a Christmas book where it has a black kid on the cover. People assume, oh, it's a book for black people or whatever. But we really wanted to make sure the illustrations covered everything, because my friends group is every race around. I grew up with people of all races, so that was something that we tried to make sure that we included in the pictures, which I think was really important, that we had all the colors of the spectrum covered in the book, right? It's because you don't see a lot of Christmas books. You see a lot of Christmas books. We don't have a lot with black people on the cover, and I thought it was great to have that opportunity, but also have the insides represent just kind of the diversity that we have in our lives. So I thought it was
totally.
It was a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and it's one where as a white person, like I don't feel like, well, this isn't for me. Like this isn't made for me. I can't, I read this and I'm like, this is just a good story, and it kind of gives me some insight into that too. So yeah, but I mean the main thing is the heart of it, which I absolutely love. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, that means a lot. We're hoping that, every year we've gotten more people interested in it. Every year, more people find out about it. Like, oh, I've never heard of this. It's like, so, it'll just continue to grow over the years. That's our hope.
I'm really surprised when you said your cousin did the illustrations, and he doesn't have the illustrations are really freaking good. So like for him to not have. It's nice.
There you go. We all have them, Joe. It's okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
These are really freaking good.
Thanks. Yeah, he went to town on them. It's funny because he had it done probably a couple months. He had it in August. He's like, if I rush it, I can get it done by December when we can print it. But I was like, you know what? If each picture is going to look as good as this one, he had done, I think, the cover and like one or two other illustrations that he started. I was like, no, take your time, do it right, because if you do it right, then it's going to last forever, and people are going to see these pictures and be like, what? You guys did that? You don't have a publishing company? You're like, no, it's just me and him. We put together ideas. We put together YouTube videos every once in a while that are funny, and, you know, we're writing books. So every time we come up with an idea, we probably have 50 or 60 book ideas that we have listed. We're just like, oh, which one do we want to work on? He works full time. He works a little bit in finance. So we try to, you know, squeeze in time in between to put new ideas together and do stuff. But this one is, you know, one that we are really proud of. So thank you.
So were you like did you write the story first and then he made the illustrations for the story, or were you guys kind of working through it like as you went? Like, how did that work?
For the Christmas book, he was just he was a singer professionally. He went to he used to sing in a band, in a group years ago, like in the 80s. They had a couple of top 10 hits, and he's always a singer and lyricist. So one day he said he was in the shower singing "I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas," and he said, "I'm dreaming of a brown Christmas," and he was like, maybe that could be a book. So he said it could be a song. And I was like, well, it's all kinds of rights if you redo a song. But I was like, if you make it into a book that you kind of read to the tune of the song, you don't have to worry about rights and all that, because you can't tell someone how to read it. So I was like, that's a really good idea. So he started writing the lyrics. And he already had a couple of the pages sketched out. So I kind of helped him with fine tuning some of the writing. And then when the art started doing the art, I was like, oh, maybe have this kind of person. Do you have this included? Maybe get rid of that. So those kind of things, so we had the basic ideas. So I would kind of edit in that sense. But, a lot of it repeats. So it's like a song. So it didn't take that much writing, but it was kind of like we wanted certain brown things to be in there, like brownstone brownstone houses, cookies, and make sure that all those things that you think of with Christmas are represented. So it was kind of a process together. But then once we were happy with the story, he had a bunch of art already thought out. And once he started going nuts on the art, I was like, just go nuts, and we'll and just go with it. And then we did it over the summer. And we're like, if we do it over the summer, it's going to be tough because it's a Christmas book to try to advertise on Kickstarter. Right. We're like, let's just do it. I was on vacation. He was somewhere else. I recorded the video on my phone. I said, let's just put it on Kickstarter and see what happens. And 2 weeks, we raised $11,000. So it was like, there was a reason that we did it. And we think that there was, it has a great message, great images, and people see, like you said, you see the images and you're like, wow, this is really amazingly, really well done. So that's what we were going for. So we hope that, more and more people will see it over the years.
Well, and the cool thing about being through Amazon too is it's pretty quick to get it. Like, so even, I know we're sitting here late November, but if people ordered that today, I mean, they're definitely going to get it before Christmas. So
because of the Christmas book, we have about a couple hundred in storage with our distributor. So Amazon already has copies of this, like in their warehouse. So if someone orders it, it's already on Prime. So someone orders it, they'll probably get it Prime will get it tomorrow or by Tuesday. So it's much quicker than it was when the Kickstarter happened, because I was doing all the fulfillment. Jesse, it took me forever to get you your book, because I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot to send him his book. But Amazon, they're like, oh, click, boom, they ship it, and I don't have to think about it. So that's been really helpful. So if someone orders on Amazon, you don't make as much money, but it's a little easier of the process, because if someone's already buying a bunch of things, they can add it to their cart, and then you're good to go. So it's been helpful in that sense.
Although by ordering from you directly, I don't know about Jesse, but I got a signed copy, so that's kind of a little. True. Yeah, that's. Did I sign yours, Jesse? Special.
I think I signed yours. I didn't sign yours.
Oh no, you did. You did.
I did. Okay. I was about to say, wait, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep. I was looking on the wrong page.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute. After all that time, I didn't sign it. Yeah. So you do get that.
I'm not Amish. You can call me Jespediah all you want. I'm not actually Amish.
Oh God!
Not everybody in Pennsylvania is Amish.
I apologize.
Not you, Danny.
Oh God! I thought I was like, did I say something? Oh, I get it.
Vernon's like, what the heck did I write in your book?
What did I write on that note? Oh my goodness! What did I say?
Here's your book, my Amish friend, Jesse.
My Amish friend. Oh my goodness.
Wait, what does that say? No, and like, look, I ordered it through, and we were messaging. It was like right before the holiday season, and
Yeah.
I knew you were doing it. It was like I don't want to say I knew it was like self-published, but I knew you were handling the shipping and
Filming,
everything.
yeah.
So I was just like, I'm not gonna, Danny, dang it. I was like, he'll get it if I don't have it in time for Christmas. That's this year. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous book, and I'm really gonna dive into it this year, and
I appreciate that. Thank you.
all that. So like I have looked through, but I've not like I wanted it to
Right.
be
Okay.
the right. So probably after Thursday, I'll like sit
There
down
you go. That's when
read
the
it.
official kickoff for Christmas. Yeah, it's funny because it's a seasonal book, so you have like a month long, like when it really sells well, and then December 26th is like, boop, no people are like we moved on, but it's you have a good solid month of really good powerful sales, so it's good.
There you go. Now you got to work on some books for the other holidays. You got to start working on like a Valentine's book.
I know. I had a Mother's Day book I was thinking of because that's a huge market. So we got a couple ideas we're thinking about. Got to cover every holiday.
St. Patty's Day book.
He's really going for the holiday market. He's really whatever.
Yeah. Like, I'm dreaming of a red Valentine's Day. Could go a couple different ways.
There you go. I love it.
It's either about like the St. Valentine's Day, like the gangster, like the massacre, or like
that took a turn. I didn't see that coming.
Would be a different audience, I'd imagine.
Exactly.
Cool. So I see you've got a little bit of a kind of collection there behind you. What things are you into? I mean, obviously, Four Horsemen. We all love the legions, but what all things do you collect? And is that something that started later on in life, or have you kind of collected from since you were a kid, or how's that worked?
I mean, since I was a kid, I was collecting G.I. Joe and Transformers. Those are the big things. Grew up in the 80s. I'm born in 78, so I was right there when G.I. Joe first kind of came out with the first, series. The first figure I ever got was Stalker. That was like my first action figure. The thumbs broke off, but I played with it, like everyone else's thumbs.
Yeah.
You put the gun in, it's like snap. You're like, oh well. So that was the first figure I had. I remember I got it from my babysitter. She gave it to me, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is a great toy. So I had been collecting Joes and Transformers around the same time. Thundercats, Silverhawks, all the stuff that all the companies are now bringing back because we all have disposable income now.
Don't say Silverhawks on here.
I know. I'm so sorry. I forgot that was a trigger word. I apologize, Curtis.
I'm good. I love my Silverhawks.
I know. So collected those as a kid. And we're just always into customizing. So especially with the G.I. Joes, because you could take the screws out and you could kind of redo the arms and create new characters. So those are the toys I grew up with. And then just as I got older, I never really stopped buying toys. I was doing Marvel Legends for a while, DC Classics. So I have a lot of the DC Classics still in my garages in a bin because I only have 3 cases back here. Most of the stuff that's here is G.I. Joe Classified, Mythic Legions, and some Transformers, like the more recent Earthrise, those kind of Transformers, kind of the plastic, updates of the toys we grew up with. So those are the main lines I buy. I split off to get some stuff that goes with Legions. Like maybe I'll get a McFarlane figure that I think, it looks kind of, it scales well, so I'll go with it. And I don't really do Mezco. I have a handful of Mezco that I haven't even opened. I think I have a Deadpool. Conan I got because he goes with Legions. So, and that's about it. So yeah, most of the stuff I've been done lately is a lot of classified. G.I. Joe Classified. Just they've updated the figures in the ways I'm like, oh, this is what I always wanted. I always wanted Snake Eyes that was this big and this, this kind of articulation. So they've been driving hard for the wallet though. These companies, I don't know what there was a drought, and then it was all of a sudden everything came in. So it's like.
I just got in the 2 new Dreadnoks today, and I think they weren't supposed to. At least the last thing I saw, they weren't supposed to be delivered till like January, and then I got a notice.
Ripper and someone else.
Ripper and
Buzzer, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy with the chainsaw and
and last I saw, they weren't supposed to be delivered till like January, and then I got a notification from Amazon like 2 days ago that it's like, they're on their way, and I'm like,
time of year, cool. Amazon does that all the time. I ordered the Alpha Flight pack a couple years ago, like that 5-figure pack.
Yeah,
it was supposed to ship in like March, and like 2 weeks before Christmas they shipped, and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I'm glad
I mean, I'm not upset about it, but yeah.
I was, because like, man, I'm glad I just had a paycheck deposit. Otherwise, my bank account would be negative, because that was a $140 set or something like that.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
boxes.
I had already paid for this. Like, it was a pre-order that I had already paid for.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I mean, mine was through Amazon, so it like they didn't take the money until they shipped.
Oh, I thought mine was a pre-order through Amazon too, but I thought I paid for it up front. Maybe I didn't. Maybe they did just charge me.
Maybe they offer. I don't know. But that's just the way it looked. It freaked me out. But I was like,
it'll just come out of my super chat.
I'm not buying groceries this week.
Eating's overrated. It's okay.
Yeah, mine will just come out of my super chat budget, so it's not a big deal. So.
You know what? Greg mentioned in the chat Temu. I don't know if you guys ever buy anything off of Temu, but I've been getting a lot of like. They do a lot of they sell a little bit of everything. It's almost, I think they're like a Chinese eBay almost. But
yeah.
They do a lot of like metallic weapons, and I've been buying a lot of like stuff to go with Legions. Like this is a keychain accessory.
Cool. Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. But it's a really cool sword, you know. So I'm like, let me see if this goes with, you know, they have like guns. Like this is Vorga, and she has like this gun, which is technically a keychain. But you take the keychain off, and it's kind of a decent gun. So I've been buying a lot of stuff off of there. It's cheap. It's like $1, $2. See, there we go. Here we go, Greg. He mentioned it because he knew I wanted to mention it. Yeah. So I get a lot of those little weapons and accessories for Legions, especially with Cosmic or Mythic. I mean, it just totally depends. If I see something that's kind of cool, I'm like, oh, that would be a cool sword for this character. So, you know, it's fun. So,
yeah, I only got one thing off of Temu, and it didn't work out for me. So I kind of was like, okay, I'm done.
I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, it's cheap, but it was not.
If you get something like a model on there, you might get a model that's pretty much a bootleg that's going to break as soon as you put it together. But this stuff is like die cast, like metal keychain accessory. So I'm like, okay, it's $1. Let me see, and then if it works out, it works out.
You mentioned Stalker. I just found the classified version of him at my local Ollie's, like right before Legion's Con.
Ollie's. We don't have that around here. Where I'm in Jersey, there's no Ollie's.
Every time he talks about Ollie's, I get sad.
Well, it's usually everything they have there is the stuff that was peg warmers at the local stores. But every now and then, like Stalker, I never saw him on the pegs in the local stores. I never saw Sergeant Slaughter on my local stores.
Nope. Yeah.
You know, like I maybe saw one at GameStop for like $35. I'm like, I'm not paying $35 for Sergeant Slaughter. Like he's cool,
but not that.
Not 30. Like that's a named Legions figure. Like no.
Exactly.
$12.99 at Ollie's 6 months later. Perfect.
Yeah, people have been talking about Ollie's for a while because people have been finding the Vipers, like the 3-pack. Oh, Valiant Knight. He's looking. I like it.
Very cool.
It's very good great articulation. I have an open
mind.
He's
solid. Like I just put him down, and he just like you don't have to balance him or anything. And
was it? I saw Dorklair did a thing with it, and someone else did some pop and swaps on like with some dwarf parts. It was like I think it was like the Magnus torso, but it had the new arms, and it was getting into some pretty sweet. I mean,
I saw Arthas did some with the God's Fire heads and the Templar torso. It looked really good, you know. Nice. And that's not just because they're Templars, but
Benny is saying that we have Ollie's in Jersey. Well, I'm in North Jersey, so there might be one in South Jersey. You got to go far. Like I think there's a Ross. Ross is a good store. We always, whenever we're on vacation, my wife always likes to go there because they have great sales and stuff. So I like to go. Be like, I'll support you, but I'll go to the toy aisle to see what they have because they usually have stuff there. But the only one that I know of is like in the Princeton area for Ross, and I don't even know where there's an Ollie's that's not driving distance. And you know how stuff. We're in an area where stuff gets taken quickly. So if you go to Target, you better get there when they're putting something out because it's a lot of collectors. There's a lot of toy conventions. So stuff gets kind of the shelves get taken over pretty quickly. So you can't really find stuff unless someone hits something or you happen to get there at the right time.
Yeah.
Well, next time I go to Ross or Ollie's, if I see anything G.I. Joe, I'll shoot you a message if you're looking for it, and I'll grab it for you.
I appreciate that.
You had it and you lost it.
What? You had it.
Yep. Spinning wheel of death.
Well, I know we've got that Wolf King thing to talk about. Is this a good time to bring that up?
Yeah, let's bring up the first thing real quick.
Okay.
This is a non-sponsored plug.
Ooh.
Or non-paid plug.
Ooh.
Scott Warren reached out to me, said he wanted to. He was talking about the Charlie's Collectible show. I think he talked about then when he was on something they do there in Charlotte.
Nice.
But they've got a special event coming up December 9th and 10th. For those of you that are in or close to, it's the Charlotte area, and they're doing a Star Wars event and a Mythic and Cosmic Legions event of some sort. Knowing him, there's probably going to be some sort of like painting going on. So make sure you check that out. You can follow his page. I think it's like the SORU Studios on Instagram for his page. And then, Curtis, you know a little bit more about this than I do at this point, other than I'm participating in it. So I'll let you set this up.
So I know that Wolf King is working to raise money for Toys for Tots for the holiday. So they're going to be, I don't know all the details of it, but I know that Len is working with Cullen. They're going to run a wheel. I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of raffle format to raise money. And he's got some unpainted sets, as well as he's going to have some artists do some painted sets for prizes. So this first one here is just kind of a Vorgus armor set with a couple different heads, a torso, and some weapons. Then the next one, I guess, this is just go ahead.
As we can tag team, I can read these. This is a deluxe Goblin Legion builder with the Armadillo set.
Yeah,
you can paint up
not armadillo, but armordillo.
Armadillo.
I like that. Then we've got deluxe gladiator with the wolf parts. What are they? The Lupus Rex? Is that what that is?
Yep, that's the Wolf King in Latin.
Gotcha.
Fancy.
That is a fun set to paint. This is the deluxe Dwarf Legion builder with I think that's a new head.
It is, it's newer. He's had it for about a month now.
Okay, that maybe debuted at Legion's Con, like for in-person pickups. But yeah, new dwarf head. The big axe is really cool, and those new hand axes are new to me.
I don't recognize those.
Those are pretty sweet. I probably should have asked to paint this one. That's really cool.
This one's actually going to be painted by David Williams. So it's the Lady Averona figure. And then it's got the little critter head with the skull on top, critter feet, the shield and sword. David Williams, awesome painter. So
indeed, this one is going to be similar deal, full custom figure. So it'll be the Swig figure with custom painted parts, painted by Nathaniel Armstrong of Telltale Art Customs, which if you did not see the pictures or weren't at Legion's Con, look for his amazing display of the Disney's Robin Hood characters.
Oh yeah, those are great.
This one is a bronze dwarf. It looks like it's got 3 different heads, painted by Noah Pratt, and his dwarf heads have been fire lately. So, and then it comes with that hammer as well as those pauldrons. So that'll be cool.
And this one is going to come with parts painted by the Lord Stephen Busciotti, deluxe Legion builder, deluxe Barbarian Legion builder with, what is that? The head with the bear,
called the Bear Warden.
The Bear Warden with the cowl and the waist piece and some sort of bone tomahawk. It looks like
what it looks like. Yeah. This one will be a Patrick Boyle. So you've got the Pelvicus figure, and then it looks like it's coming with a general head as well as the Mercurian skeleton head. You got a couple swappable chest plates, some pauldrons, and some weapons.
Oh, this timed out perfectly. I did not know I was going to get mine. I'm going to be painting up this skeleton torso and helmet with the shield and weapons to go with Ilgar.
Nice.
Have you painted that head before?
I've not painted that one.
I will tell you, it is really fun to paint, but it's also a bitch to paint.
It looks like it.
Usually,
because
any of the helmets that have open faceplate stuff usually are.
Yeah, because it's like two sculpts that he merged together. So like it's a full skeleton head inside of that helmet, but they're together. So you kind of have to like get under the flap.
Get in the gaps.
The cool thing is though, if that flap breaks off, because I've seen some people where it breaks off, it actually looks really cool with it broken off. It's like a broken kind of helmet piece. So don't get too worried if that breaks off while you're trying to paint it.
Okay.
That shield looks nice too. That's like some nice level of detail in that shield. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one is going to be Zombie 13. Now I asked Len about this. I'm not quite sure because it's the vampire phalanx and it's got this head and pauldrons painted by Zombie, but then it also comes with this chest plate, but the vampire phalanx doesn't have a removable chest plate. So I don't know if there's going to be another torso with that or if that's just for you to put on a different figure. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that one.
Whoa.
Painted by the one and only Curtis Ackerman of Art by Ackerman.
I know him.
The brand new Valiant Knight that debuted at Legion's Con with looks like two helmets, or a helmet, a head, a kind of collar piece, and two pretty sick looking weapons that he'll be able to get into some sweet double-handed poses.
Nice.
Yep. That'll be fun. And apparently I got another one. This is the Snitch custom head and feet, as well as the Goblin Legion Builder body. So that'll be perfect for the time for the holidays. Oh, that's too early. Don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
So yeah, did you? He didn't announce that yet, right? So if you're in the Wolf Den page on Facebook, stay tuned there, or sign up for the newsletter or whatever Len does with the Wolf King Customs page.
I think they'll be promoting it in the Cabal as well. I know he's working with Cullen, and I think Cullen's going to be doing the wheel for us. So just be on the lookout, but there's more to come on that. I know that they're moving pretty quickly. He's getting the parts out. I think he got them out today or he was at least working on it today, because obviously we're getting close to the holidays. Really wants to try to raise that money and give it to Toys for Tots. So it's all the money's going to a good cause, and help out. Yeah. You may also win something awesome. So
it's a great cause.
Two things real quick. A quick shout out to Carlos for Yes.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yes. All right. Carlos, man. Names and handles. Carlos, thanks for joining in.
He has some really good Legions Con videos up too.
I was just going to say, I watched his quick tour around the whole thing today, this afternoon. That was really cool. And JG was asking about the 20% off sale. I know the Horseman or Jeremy posted something about that this week, that I think it's up to the vendors how much they're going to participate. It depends on what stock they have. So just because it's on sale, this doesn't mean they will have it if they don't have those figures in hand.
Basically they're giving the vendors the opportunity to go below that minimum price that they typically have to sell at. But it, like you said, it's still up to the vendors on whether they do that or not. So if they need to move some stock, that's a good way to do it. So I would be on the lookout for, Black Friday sales. I can tell you, I don't want to give away the specifics yet because that's really for Len to do, but I know Wolf King Customs is going to have a really good sale that, combines the figures and the parts. So if you're needing some 3D parts, you're needing some figures, be on the lookout because he's got a pretty good Black Friday sale coming for that. So
trying to find the post real quick. Oh yeah. So it looks like the Deluxe Legion Builder Wave, All-Stars 5, Cosmic 1, and All-Star Trolls will be included in that sale. Can be included in that sale, depending on. And I believe with the discount, it gets most of them close to con table prices, like Horseman table prices.
Yeah, should.
Someone was breaking down the math on that, and I caught that. So yeah, make sure you look for that starting on Friday, Black Friday,
okay,
11/24.
Yeah, Thanksgiving feels so early this year. I don't know. It's just I was at church today, and the choir director was like, "I didn't realize that Thanksgiving was this Thursday." It was like, "Oh no!"
It came quick, man.
Yeah, it feels a little early. Usually, I feel like it's later in the it's in the 20s. It's always the number 20s, but it feels like wow, it's this week. So yeah.
For what's the rule? Is it? It's the fourth.
The third Thursday.
Fourth Thursday.
Fourth Thursday. Is it?
So the first of the month was.
It is the fourth Thursday.
Well, it's the fourth Thursday, or no, it's the third Thursday following the first Tuesday.
Okay, there you go. There you go. So
I believe that's the way that works.
So yeah, the 23rd is the
because there are 5 Thursdays in November this year.
Woo.
Like married to like my sister's cousin on a father's side related to his nephew's dogs.
Right.
Fourth cousin.
Yeah. So it's that time of year, folks. Let's raise some money for Toys for Tots.
Yeah.
If you got some extra figures from Legions Con and somebody that didn't get to go and you can help them out, either for a good price or even just gifting them one, like this is that time of year.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time of year where Curtis's heart grows 3 sizes. So
until the 26th of December. It's also a great time.
Yeah.
You're learning. Amazon.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm glad Legions Con happens before Christmas ends.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because I got that very special gift from Curtis at Legions Con, so I'll attribute it to that. No, Curtis is an awesome guy. He just doesn't want anybody to know.
Exactly. He's trying pretty hard not to let people know that.
Listen, here's the thing. You're such a sweet guy, Jesse, that I have to try to play it up that I'm a jerk, because there's no way, even if I was as sweet as humanly possible, I couldn't be as sweet as you. So it's I've got to go the opposite way. I got to really lean into the jerkdom.
I have my moments, especially when I'm driving. I swear a lot when I'm driving.
Mostly
not actually out the window at other people. Just it's my stress relief in the car.
I thought you were just yelling at your car.
Go faster!
No, weird noises. I talk as nice to my car as I possibly can because it shakes. There's vibrations in places I feel there shouldn't be vibrations, but that's a whole other story.
Exactly. What's that rattling? It's fine.
Just put New Jersey and back. I can't trust it to get to MesquiCon if I can make it to MesquiCon. So maybe Sean can go and he can drive this time.
It's like those people that talk nicely to their plants so that they'll grow better.
Yeah,
that's scientifically true.
Yeah, I know.
It is.
I know, but Jesse does that with his car.
And that is not scientifically true.
He's like, it's okay. We'll get there. It's just Jersey.
You're
all
almost
right.
there.
We'll be okay.
You've seen potholes before. It's okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Next year video setup.
I don't know.
What Joe's? I'm not sure.
You have some videos.
I'm not tracking that.
Next year video setup.
Explain as you would a child.
Explain it to me like I'm 10.
Yeah. That's my favorite line from Galaxy Quest.
But again, speaking of Galaxy Quest, a classic, really good movie. I remember watching in the theater, this is gonna be corny or whatever, it's gonna be fine, and being I feel like they really pulled it off. The idea that there was this whole Star Trek type of universe, and that they had been following it from this far off planet and everything that happened, and I was like, this is actually a good movie. I really enjoyed it. I remember watching it being like, this was way better than I thought. Explain as you would a child.
It's one that I did not see at the theaters because I thought it's just going to be some goofy movie, and I mean if Tim Allen is your headliner, how good could it be? But it's really good. It's probably in my top 5 movies of all time.
I was shocked.
I really do enjoy it. So
I saw it with my dad because we were into Star Trek a lot. So we're like, oh, this is probably a funny movie and has Sigourney Weaver playing like the sexy, sidekick or whatever. I was like, it'll probably be fun. And I was like, this is really good.
Yeah.
They crashed the convention at the end. It was like a whole thing. They had the geeks helping them figure out how how it worked, and it was like great.
Yeah,
and then one of the best
kids are
parts
like
when
talking about how
mom,
like they know it's not real and everything, and then they tell them it is real. I knew it.
I knew it.
Yeah. And the mom's like, yo, Jordan, you need to take the garbage out, or whatever his name is. And he's like, oh, Mom, I'm doing something really important. He actually is doing something
exactly
important.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Oh man, I think my favorite line in that movie is like, "Can you make some sort of rudimentary lathe?"
Yeah, that's good. Oh, guy's the best. Is there air? You don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch the show?
Yeah.
Oh, such a great movie.
Great movie.
Speaking of movies and/or shows, is there anything that's obviously you've been very busy with Legion's Con and kids? Is there anything? I'm assuming you probably watch a lot of Disney movies with your kids or that sort of thing.
Well, actually, we were trying to watch. What we have been watching on? It's on Netflix. It's called My Dad, the Bounty Hunter. It's about a father who's a bounty hunter and his kids don't know, but he's like an intergalactic bounty hunter. And it has, it's a black family. He's the bounty hunter. The mom has her own secrets. The kids don't know that he's a bounty hunter. He just goes away for a while and comes
What's
back.
It called?
My Dad, the Bounty Hunter.
Okay.
And it's on Netflix. It has a couple. The guy who's the main voice is Mother's Milk on The Boys. He's
okay.
So he's the father, and a girl from the show Insecure is the mother, and a couple of the voices that you might recognize. But a really fun show. And it's just about, again, they don't know he's an intergalactic bounty hunter, but they find out and they have to help him on some of his missions and all that kind of thing. And has a lot of good family values. So that's something that we season 2 just dropped. So we just finished that because they love the show.
Okay.
And then what have I been watching lately? Billions. I watch a lot of Billions is a good show. I just finished Succession. I'm starting to watch a spinoff of Bridgerton. One of those Shonda Rhimes, period pieces about stuff, and there's a spinoff of that about one of the main characters we've been watching. So I've watched a little bit of everything when I can, and in between, like trying to get some video gaming in. Someone said Keith David is in here. Keith David is one of the voices in the second season. So and Keith David did he did a reading of this book online. So we were able to connect with him through, so it's kind of a random thing. My dad was doing some work with him, and he's like, he said to me, do you know who Keith David is? I'm like, yeah, he's Spawn, he's Goliath, he's like a great voice. He's like, oh, okay, so you do know who he is. So I'm like, he said, do you want me to send you his book? I was like, absolutely, send me the book. I send it to him in the mail, and weeks go by, I don't hear from him. And then he gets back to my dad saying that, I'm connected with the foundation that's about Alzheimer's research. And they have a podcast where they have celebrities read a book. And I want to read I'm Dreaming of a Brown Christmas. And I was like, what? So there's a video online. If you go into YouTube and type in Keith David, I'm Dreaming of a Brown Christmas, it's his voice reading the book along with music that my cousin composed.
Wow.
He created, so it's pretty awesome. And he's a really nice guy. I talked to him on the phone a couple of times, had a Zoom call with him, and just really down to earth. And he was great. So Keith David, he's got one of those voices you've heard in a million things. As soon as you hear it, you're like, oh, I know who he is. So
okay, wait. I got a bone to pick with you now, Vernon.
Uh-oh.
How do you not lead with that? How did we have to pull that out? Like, listen, if Keith David read anything that I wrote,
right?
I would tell everybody. It would be the first thing I say to anybody in any conversation.
So you know Goliath and Spawn, So,
but forget me if I mention I've ever left the country.
Right. Yeah. But I'm saying, like we've been talking about your book and stuff, and you're just now like, oh yeah, by the way, like, dude, that's huge.
I gotta say this. Keith David, because of course I knew him from Goliath, Gargoyles in the 90s, and I'm sure other things at that point. Yeah, Alberto, when I watched Requiem for a Dream, like I had a hard time adjusting back to liking Keith. I mean, no, he's not the character, but
I've never seen it.
It's rough. It's about heroin addicts and just like their absolute fall into, you know, addiction. It's a
Seems like
very
a movie
well
that's right
done
up your
movie.
alley.
No, because I watched it while I was doing like clinical drug trials, so I was like freaked the hell out because, you know, but it's too depressing because even the serious movies I like, Chris, usually there's a good ending or there's a good message in it. This one is like, don't do drugs. If you know that going into this movie, you don't like. It's very well done. It's very well acted. It's probably one of oh shoot, what's his name? Mor- Morbius's best performances.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto, like he's great in it, but yeah, Keith David's in it. It just the way that movie ends, it was really rough to like, oh, that's Goliath because he's like doing some really shady stuff at the end of that movie.
Gotcha. Okay, I might have to check it out.
It's really good, but like I said, it's definitely not one to watch around the kids at all.
Yeah. So
I mean,
watching that around the kids.
You parent how you want, but I don't think
no judgment, right? No. Do you?
Speaking of not family friendly things, I just finished Fall of the House Usher.
Don't spoil it. I have like 2 episodes left.
I'm not going to spoil it, but it's good, but it's there's some stuff in there that's like, man, this is a little brutal for me. But it's overall it's good. I like how they kind of tied in, you know, the stories of Poe in there, but put a modern twist on it and stuff. So it was really cool. But I don't know that I'll ever watch it again. I think one time through was good for me. So
yeah, there's and you know what's coming back? I don't know if you watch on Amazon Prime. I've been watching on Apple TV. I finished Severance, which was like a really weird, crazy show, and Silo was really good. I don't know if you watched that. That was a really good show.
I haven't seen Silo, but I've heard good things. I've got it on my list.
Watch that because that is a great. I mean, it's just one of those. Again, Severance is totally messes with your head because you're like, what is happening? What is this whole thing going on? And Silo, again, it's about people living in a silo because something's happened outside and trying to figure out what the deal is. But it just ends, and you're just like, whoa, you know, it really has a great ending where you're like, okay, they went there. So I won't tell you anymore, but really well done. So Severance, the Silo, and that's
Severance. They got a season. The next season's got to be coming out at some point soon, right? Because they totally set it up for the.
There's got to be the way it ended. You're just like, what? You're ready for another episode. You're like ready there. They really
that's a big cliffhanger. Yeah,
huge cliffhanger. And that's another good one.
They're both. I watched the first episode of Severance. I liked it, but I just wasn't ready to dive into that headspace at the time.
Yeah.
Silo, but like just doing so much prep the last like couple months for Legion's Con, I haven't watched a lot of stuff that I wanted to actually focus on.
Yeah.
So those are 2 I want to get back to. I did watch Monarch: Legacy of Monsters this weekend, the new Godzilla MonsterVerse series.
How was it
on Apple TV? If I think it's really cool because it's jumping back and forth in time and kind of filling in some of these things, and like kind of like how Clone Wars did for Star Wars between episode 2 and 3. It like expanded a lot of stuff, so it doesn't have any of the main characters from either of those movies, but like it's in that world, and it's really cool. Like it's very high quality production. So
yeah,
I also just watched Last Voyage of Demeter, which I mean, it wasn't a bad movie. It's really freaking dark. Like dark physically, like it's filmed dark, and so you can't like see a lot of the shit. It's like really hard to see what's going on, which I didn't like. Which I mean, I get it. Like you're trying to create this suspense, and you know you don't know where the vampire is going to be and stuff.
Setting on your TV because it was just fine viewing experience for me.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I just
it was dark, but like I was able, like I don't know if it's just the. You know how you can do like sports, movie, whatever, I guess.
Sometimes you can adjust it.
It was dark, but I know what you're talking about. There are some movies I've seen like that, but that one was fine for me.
It's like with video games where you make the adjustment, and it's funny because I feel like when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, I can see. Now I'm like, I want to see everything. Like my eyes are bad enough as it is. I'm like, I need to see if something's coming my way. I don't need to be surprised. I'm like, no, I want it so that I can be the symbol has to be as far to the right as possible. So it's like there, like, no, I don't want any suspense. I don't need that.
Yeah, like there were some like action scenes where like stuff's going on. I'm like, I can see nothing of this. Like it's just, you know, it's just fog and darkness. So
last season of Game of Thrones had a couple fight scenes where you're just like, I'm sitting there like, what is what's happening?
Yeah,
the budget cut so they can't show as much. So they're like, just make it dark and fire and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Was it the whole battle of
where Snow takes on the dragon.
Stark right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was it Winterfell?
Was it maybe when I remember I think we're thinking about the same thing because I remember seeing it being like trying to squint my way through it.
Isn't that the Stark home?
Winterfell. I think it was Winterfell.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, because it's when they're all out there and then the White Walkers are coming and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole scene with Arya and the night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch Loki? Finish up Loki?
Watch the first. I didn't. I watched the first season. I haven't gotten again. It's one of those shows that's in my queue. I'll get to it. I haven't watched this season yet. How was it?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, no spoilers, but I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was better than some of the other ones that they've had recently, but it didn't blow me away.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't blow me away, but it's one I feel like the was it Benson and Moorhead were the executive producers on it. They did some of the stuff on Moon Knight. They've done a couple movies I really like that are kind of horror movies, but it's not like in your face like monster slasher movies. It's more like intellectual, like mental horror, you know, where the way people are reacting and so I really appreciate the kind of heady thriller stuff they got into with this a little bit. They did the one with Anthony Mackie and I don't know if it was Sebastian Stan, where they were like it was on Netflix like a year or two ago, where they were doing stuff with like time hopping or something.
Oh,
Synchronic, or something like that.
I know what you're talking about, but
it's like in New Orleans or something. That was pretty cool. That one was a little bit more actiony than their other stuff is, but like they have a really cool take on things. So it's seeing them as like executive producer on all the episodes was really cool. I liked it a lot more than the first season. It was interesting. It didn't feel as we're tying it into everything in the MCU. You know, it's kind of its own thing. Like it definitely has connecting threads.
Yeah.
Same with Marvels. I won't spoil it, but I had a lot of fun watching the Marvels on Monday when I got home from the convention. So it's far more enjoyable than the first one. And I defended that first one for a long time until I just realized I couldn't do it anymore.
With Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was all right.
I don't dislike it, but it's not as good as I wanted it to be.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I find myself, you know, with movies, unless I really have to see them. What was the last one I saw in the theaters? I thought Ninja Turtle movie with my kids, and the family was in, which was great. And we saw it like at a local theater, so it was like $7 a ticket. But we went to go see Into the Spider-Verse. Cookie and Greg have heard the story a million times. And we went to go see it in 3D, like a 10 o'clock show, good seats. It was like $125 for 5 of us.
Wow.
And I thought I had checked out wrong. I'm like, no, I must have put another family on here. Like I put like 10 people. So let me go back, go through the process again. And it was like, it was, that's why we don't go to the movies that often, or we go to like the matinee or like a cheaper theater. It's just, it gets cost prohibitive. So I end up watching a lot of stuff at home. Like I'll wait till it comes out on Disney Plus, like Captain Marvel, like Marvels. I kind of want to see, but the kids don't want to see it. My wife doesn't really want to see it. Maybe she'll want to see it because there's a lot of female leads. So she'll, you know, she's more into that because she's like, oh, I like that. So she might want to see it. But if she's not, you know, going crazy, I'll just wait till it hits Disney Plus. I'm paying for that anyway. I might as well just wait till it, you know.
And it'll be on there in like 3 months. It'll probably be in there by mid to late January. Anyway.
If I watch anything else that I haven't watched yet, and by that time, I'm like, oh, it's here. Then I'll watch it. But this gets very expensive.
It's fun. The dynamic between Carol, Monica, and Kamala is fantastic. Like if you liked Ms. Marvel, you've liked her personality. Like her family's in it a little bit, so you get a little bit of that kind of chaotic family stuff going on. It was a lot of fun, not goofy fun like Love and Thunder, where it like took you out of it. There is one section that's kind of like what, but it worked. It worked for me. I could have done without it, but it worked for me.
Okay.
But it was fun. Definitely a lot more enjoyable than the first one, I thought. And yeah, Steve was just saying Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. I think it's Across, the new one.
Yeah,
is
I
on.
think it's
One
Across.
of them just hit Netflix.
It did. Yep.
So,
but it's a long movie though. Even though it's only
Yeah.
halfway, it's only the halfway point, which is amazing. I'm like, what? There's another 2.5.
I remember talking about it. I remember
mean,
talking about it on OffWorld and getting Curtis to go see it, and then he was like, "How did you not tell me this was like a 2-part movie?"
Right, they're getting ready to go into battle. I'm like, really? Like, oh, the credits are rolling. What is happening? It's like, how do you do? You know?
And that's like the best part of the movie too. It's like it ramps up and like you're getting so excited, and it's like the end. It's like
the end. No, you get it. But I thought it was great. They've done the animation and just the whole thing, and the Miles Morales is like, the next generation. I think it's they've done a really good job with him.
Yeah, I like the as they went from like one world to another, that you get like a totally different vibe. Like when you're in the one with Gwen, like all the different colors kind of shift based on the mood and everything. And it was really well done. I think the characters were great. The voice acting was amazing. The animation was good. It was really cool. So another one I just saw recently, it's probably been a couple weeks ago. It's called The Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon on Netflix.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
movie.
Wow.
Yeah. And Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, that was really good. I like that a lot.
More
When you said
importantly,
Anthony Mackie and you said time travel, I was like, that's what I was thinking. That one was really good.
That was a really fun movie.
That's a really good movie.
On Netflix, if you're gonna watch a good animated series, it's based on League of Legends. I think it's called Arcane.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The animation in that was just, I remember sitting there like, how did they pull this off? Because the animation was just so fluid and lifelike and just action packed, and like they used slow motion, everything about it. I didn't know anything about the characters, so I'm like, oh, the animation looks good. Let me watch it. And then once I started watching it, I'm like, I got to keep watching it. I think that another season is coming in like 3 years, but that's because the animation I think is just.
I think next year.
Next year, is it next year?
I think they just put out a teaser like a week or so ago saying like in 2024 or something like that.
Oh, okay, okay. Cool. So that would be great. So maybe they've been working on it, because I know they said that it takes a while for it to come together just because the animation that they do. But that was a great series. I didn't know anything about the characters, but they did it so well. And it has a great intro song by the guy from Imagine Dragons. And it's like just really gets you hyped. So that was a highly recommended one.
Like I love it. Got elements to me that reminds me of some of the stuff, especially from the later Clone Wars seasons, where it almost look like kind of that chalk drawing, where like you can like it's got texture to the line on it. It doesn't have that smooth, and I'm not criticizing it. It doesn't have that really polished Disney 3D animation feel to it. It just felt very dirty and lived in, and I knew of the game, but I didn't know anything of it. But I thought it was really cool and very emotional. I love emotional stuff. Sorry, Curtis. I do like to laugh, so I'll recommend you some comedies next time.
But it was gritty and it had very much had texture to it, so it didn't feel flat, right? It didn't feel early season of the Clone Wars, everything was very like sterile and clean and everything. It felt weird, but then they started to kind of give it a little bit more life and dirt in the later seasons.
See, typically I watch stuff that Jesse recommends, and about halfway through I go, who hurt you, Jesse?
You're telling me.
What? You want me to list off? I mean,
it's how much time you have, right? 3 hours later.
I just like want him to watch something stupid like Dumb and Dumber or something.
Right. Oh, my goodness.
But here's the thing. Most of the comedies I'm going to recommend to you, I guarantee you have seen them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to really recommend or if I'm going to recommend something, it's going to be something that's got like a bit more serious element to the comedy. Like This Is Where I Leave You, or what's the one where Vince Vaughn was like the sperm donor?
Oh,
Delivery Man.
The Delivery Man. Okay.
Yeah, like it's funny. The premise of it is absolutely stupid,
right?
But like there is so much heart in that movie.
Have you seen the movie? What is Unfinished Business with Vince
No,
Vaughn?
that was a
That
recent one, right? Was it?
it's not too long. It's a few years ago. It's got the other Franco brother. God, I can't remember his name. Um,
Dave.
but it is funny. I really enjoyed that movie.
Unfinished.
Like that one in Internship is the other one with him and
At Google.
Owen Wilson.
I
Yeah,
never
where they're
saw that. I
trying.
knew it came out, but I didn't see it.
Oh God, that's good. Because
good?
they're like these middle-aged men trying to get a job at Google, and like everybody else there is like these, like young kids,
Yeah,
like
20-somethings.
yeah, and it's really funny.
Someone said Death and Robots. That's another one on Netflix. That's like each one is like its own, standalone animated kind of thing. And it's hit or miss. Like some of them are like so out there, and some of them I don't connect with, and other ones have been good. So that's another series. I think it's like in its third or fourth season, maybe it's third season. Death and Robots.
I did start watching Primal. Carver's mentioning that, and love Death and Robots. I think it was on Hulu, where it's like kind of the caveman that teams up with the dinosaur.
Oh.
Came out, I think, like last year in August. It's very, very little dialogue. It's it's kind of like if Conan was like a caveman, and so that's I like it. It's very I remember if he's part. I think it's Genndy Tartarovsky, the guy that did the original Clone Wars cartoon and Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're right. Oh, Blue Eye Samurai. Someone mentioned that. That just came out. I think. Blue Eye Samurai. It's some samurai animated anime show. I was just talking with my cousins online. My cousin, who's not even into that, said, "Yeah, I just binge watched the whole thing." So I'm like, "Oh, if he's into it." I don't do anime that much. This is so much out there, so I don't know where to start. But I heard Castlevania is another one. That's a good one on Netflix. Same kind of animation style, but yeah.
The second season of Invincible is out right now. I'm working my way through that. So.
I'll probably start that this week.
That's a rough show.
Yeah.
That's a
the comic is rough too.
What?
Yeah. The comic was rough too.
It was, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they've only got like 3 episodes out right now, but it's pretty good. So
yeah, that was
I think Primal's on Hulu. I think. I believe that's where I was watching Primal when it came out last year, but I know Curtis isn't into it. I love the Vox Machina animated series, so I can't wait for more of that. And the Mighty Nine when that comes out. And it's not anime, but it's based on an anime. I really, really liked One Piece on Netflix.
Oh, really? Yeah, I never watched it.
It's weird as hell, but I really liked it.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, it's pirates, it's crazy adventure, that was like me as like a 10-year-old fever dream pirate adventure show. So I'm into it.
You don't have to have watched the animated show to appreciate it. I'm just wondering.
I have not watched the animated show at all.
Okay.
Someone told me there's a lot of screaming in the animated show, like kind of like Dragon Ball Z, where they're just like, "Ah!" And I'm I'm not into that. So I was like, all right, I'm going to skip the anime. And I feel like they set the characters up nicely. It's got a really cool storyline, and the way everything comes around. I really dig the soundtrack to it, the score. So,
okay. Let's go. Yeah. There's so much content out there. It's hard to like even know where to, people recommend stuff you've never even heard of. I have my Netflix queue probably has 30 shows that I haven't, like Voltron. They did a remake of Voltron that I never got through. And Primal's on HBO, so maybe I'll watch it on HBO. I do have Max. I guess it's just called Max now. So, but again, it's hard to. Greg, you are ready for $1 million chicken wing. Interesting. What chicken wing is that?
Summit of the Gods Mountain Climb. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I'll check that out, Alberto.
There's a lot of channels. We only have we don't have Hulu or Peacock or a couple of the shows. So like I haven't watched Yellowstone, and there's some other ones that everyone's talking about that I just like if I get the channel maybe, but I've already have enough shows I haven't watched to add more shows I haven't watched.
Yellowstone is so good. Oh,
yeah, that's what everyone says. I'm like, oh, I really want to watch it.
Destinations I never watched. I have not watched the Bakshi Wizards. It's on my list of things to watch. It just have not happened yet. His Lord of the Rings movie borderline traumatized me as a child when I watched it, so it's hard for me to willingly jump into his stuff.
Yeah, Yellowstone is one of those where I almost did not want to watch it because people were so like loving it, and it was just like, there's no way this is gonna live up to the hype.
That's the worst, right?
It's pretty freaking good.
Oh yeah, Cookie and Greg would talk about it all the time. Like, oh, you really gonna get me getting this channel to get this show?
Yeah. They've got a couple spin-off series that are like from the same family, like from the past. Those aren't as good, but like the main series is awesome. So
cool. I'm gonna have to add that.
Yeah. I did want to bring up really quickly. I know we talked about it on OffWorld, but want to kind of share some love on this Kickstarter going on right now. Combat Creatures. I loved Battle Beast growing up. This really hits me in that spot. They've got a little video you can watch. They're at 38,000 right now of their 65,000 goal with 19 days left.
Okay.
The prices are pretty good. I think for 120 you can get the whole set of 4.
Oh, that's good.
So and then they've got some add-ons with like I think I'd have to go into see if I scroll down. They've got like these little 3D printed figures that are like the same, because these are like 6 or 7 inch. I think they're 7 inch,
6.5.
6.5.
That's
and
what.
But then they've got these like this, where you can get like the digital files for the little, like the same size as the original Battle Beast. Or you can actually have them printed up for you. You can get printed versions of them. So I think this is really cool. I'm not quite sure about this little thigh swivel here. It's kind of breaks the illusion of the
mold, right?
Yeah, but other than that, I think these are really cool looking. And so just wanted to throw that out there in case anybody hadn't heard about these. Like I said, I think they're pretty neat. So
yeah.
All right. And stop scaring. Okay.
Well, I did want to mention this. Joseph H, the video of Jesse was me during setup. How apparently I turn into a Snapdragon during setup. So
you are very much Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
All I remember is Curtis was trying to hand me stuff while I'm in the middle of setting up like a bazillion things on my table, because he was done, because he somehow got in there before everybody else. And don't give me that set up in 3 minutes bull crap.
He knows people.
It doesn't sound like me.
I know somebody. I greased somebody's wheels.
Here's what I'll say. When Jesse is setting up or tearing down, don't talk to him. Just leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's in a zone.
Yeah.
And he's not to be messed with. So every other time, Jesse is phenomenal. He's
okay.
He's such a great person that when people try to roast him, they can't even find things to roast him on. But set up and tear down Jesse,
we got nothing.
That guy you want to stay away from.
I feel like you're exaggerating a little bit.
No. Like there was legitimate terror between me and Dooch as we were talking about, like, because we were supposed to do a show Sunday night, right? And like Jesse's in the middle of tearing stuff down. And we're both like, we're not going to talk to him. Like, he is so terrifying right now. We don't like, we need to just we're like, okay, so like, do we need to make plans to eat or should we do our own thing? And Dude's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I'm just going to go to my room. And I guess once Jesse's done, hopefully we'll hear about it. And then we could try to make plans there. Cause I'm not going to talk to him right now. And he's like, I'm not going to talk to him either. Like,
I'm not going to talk to him.
Yeah, and like we were legit terrified. Yeah.
Well, apparently years ago when we went to Sean's wedding, 2 other local friends here, we were riding together, and I was just like, all right, I get off at work at this time. If you guys can meet here, we'll pick you up, we'll get something to eat, make sure everything's loaded up, and we'll take off. And just because I like having a plan. Like, I don't like the travel part of it. But I like where I go. Like, if it's just I'm driving A to B, if it's not like a take your time and get there thing, it's like I just want to get there. I don't want to. And I was just like, apparently they started calling me the general.
Uh-oh.
This is like, all right, you know. And then one time we're coming back from Baltimore. It's like not even 2 hours away. We're coming back from Baltimore. It was the first time I ever set up at a convention. You know, I'd self-published my first comic book and all this stuff, you know, through a Kickstarter and everything. And I was exhausted. I was done. I was done thinking because we're driving back. I'm driving my car. And I was like, hey, do you guys want to get something to eat? You know, find somewhere and let me go. Like, well, what about this place? Well, Andrew can't eat there because he's allergic to XYZ, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't care where we go. You guys just pick something. I can't look at my phone. I'm driving. Like, I was getting snippy. And I was
Make
like,
a decision, right?
Like, I was like, I can't make this decision. Otherwise, I'm just going to pull off the first like McDonald's I see off the highway. But if you want something more than McDonald's, you got to tell me.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Joe says heel Jesse confirmed.
There you go. There you go.
Here's what I'll tell you, Joe.
NWO all over again.
I've known Jesse for a while now, and it was the equivalent of Hulk Hogan coming out with the black spray painted beard.
Oh
and having the NWO.
NWO.
Like it was like, man, I grew up with this guy, like, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. Like, this is the ultimate good guy. And then all of a sudden he turns heel. Like, my whole world is upside down. That's what it was like seeing Jesse tear down or set up. It's
that moment is so imprinted on all of our childhood. If we watch watching that, you're like, what is happening?
The ultimate heel turn. Yes.
Oh my goodness, that was so huge. I mean, it's like, you know, everyone's a heel now, but it's like that in our moment.
I mean, there's some people that like ride that line, like they're a good guy, but they're not like super good, or they're a bad guy, but they're not super. But like for him to go like, say your prayers, eat your vitamins guy, to like the total bad guy. That's Jesse.
Okay.
Like, Jesse's like the super sweet guy when you talk to him, and like you come over to him while he's saying, "Get away from me!"
He's Razor Ramon. He's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah. I won't say I didn't do that because I honestly don't remember. Like, it's not like blackout. Don't remember. I just don't remember having any sort of intense conversation like that.
I've heard that Dr. Jekyll doesn't remember the things he did when he was Mr. Hyde either. So.
One time I went to see a movie with a friend. We went out, got something to eat and drink. So I had like a margarita or something or something. It was a Mexican restaurant. So I don't know. What's the thing with the salt? That's a margarita, right?
Margarita, yeah.
Yeah.
It's margarita.
And I hadn't eaten much during the day. So like I drank that on top of like not eating. So we got to the movie theater and like something was wrong. I thought I was yelling at the concessions person. Like I thought I was like letting them have it. And then I apologized to my friend. I was like, I'm sorry I went off on them. Like, what do you mean? I was like yelling at the guy at the ticket counter or whatever. He's like, you didn't yell at anybody. I was like, no, I really lost my cool. And like, no, you didn't.
What
so
happened?
Like, I don't know.
Wow. I gotta keep an eye out for this at the next con. That's what I need to do. He's setting up his table. Go talk to him.
Yeah, that's what you know what? That's what I should do next year. Like somebody that's never been to Legion's Con or doesn't know, I'll be like, hey, can you go ask Jesse a question for me real quick?
Yeah, setting up his table. It's fine. He likes being disturbed by setting. He loves it
because I'm not going to mentally obsess over this for the next 350 something days.
I'm just glad that you had a very good table set up. Everything went well. Your partners over there with you did a great job, and you came home healthy and happy. Yeah. So it's all good.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, now that we've turned this into a show about me, Vernon, how was Legion's Con for you? I mean, I know you talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but like I said, you were busting figures out on those carts all weekend long.
It was, it's the first time I've actually been behind the table. Last year I was there helping out a little bit, but this is the first time I was like, okay, I'm going to be behind the table, what to expect. And, you know what? I was just happy that everyone was friendly online. You know, everyone was, talking to each other, letting them know, the Valiant Knights here. You know, they were, they weren't too pushy about stuff. Oh, where's this? Why don't you have that? There was just kind of like asking questions. Greg was there. Cookie was there. We kind of worked together to make sure that we kept the table replenished with stuff and put out good stuff for people to buy. And, I didn't think it would be busy the whole day. I figured, okay, by lunch it'll die down. Oh, by 1 o'clock, by 2, it's 3, oh, it's 4, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, now we got to set up for retailers and all kinds of stuff. So it was a much fuller day than I expected, because I figured there'd be some quiet in the line, but that just kind of talks to the fan base and to how much they love the toys and how much they just want to, keep buying the toys and supporting us. Like, we wouldn't have jobs if it wasn't for you guys. If you guys didn't support the line, it's, I know I'm not trying to get all sappy and everything, but it's true. If they didn't support the line, we wouldn't be able to have a convention like this. The fact that it's even grown from this little room that had a couple people in it. I remember that at one point, I think Bally's hadn't come out yet, and they had the test shot on the table there. I think maybe Cornboy's son was there or something. I was kind of messing with it, and I was holding it, and it fell apart, and the head, like the top torso part, came off, and I was like, "Ooh, you could make this into like a minotaur, into a what's the thing with a centaur." I was like, "Ooh, this could turn into a centaur," and he was like, "Shh," because at that time it hadn't come out yet. But I was like, "Ooh, this is the way it fell apart." I was like, "You can make a centaur out of this if you replace the body." He's like, "Shh," it was like, whatever. But it was kind of funny at the time. But just have it grow from that little room to this, the whole 3D printing community and just the customization elements. And I went to an event last week from my school I graduated from in 1988, my grammar school. And I went there and I talked a little bit about being a stay-at-home dad and author, but also about working for the Horsemen. And afterwards, the principal said, "Man, you were one of the most popular people there," just because I was talking about the book, but I also had toys on me. So I had the engineer figure, and I took the head off of the engineer, and the kid thought I broke it. I was like, I popped the head off. I was like, "Oh, they come off." And he's like, "Ah!" I was like, "No."
He's traumatizing kids.
It goes back. Look, you can switch it. That's why I switched a couple times. And he was like, "Oh," and then another kid was asking me all kinds of questions, like, "What's the price point?" And it was like, about 37 to about 50, depending on the figure. Some are more. He's like, "Oh, that's pretty good for the value of this figure." I was like, "Oh, thanks." So there's some kids where are they manufactured? How are they made? Blah blah blah. So it was just really cool to see that side of it, because they were fourth and fifth graders, so they're around that age.
Okay.
They were around that age when they're starting to get into action figures. But I mean, seeing like this, they were like, "Oh, is there a comic book? Is there an animated series?" I'm like, not yet. But you never know. So being able to see that aspect of the business has been great, and being able to be at the convention was just like, wow, it's grown so much, and maybe we'll outgrow the Toy Story Center for the kids.
Here, let me show you my lighter with the
exactly. It's like, oh my God, he's mutilating the toys. I know, exactly. He killed Woody.
Well,
so
I just want to say, like, the whole, you guys, resetting everything up and doing everything for the retailer or for the exhibitors was awesome. That was something that last year it was just impossible to get anything off of the Horseman table, because the line was so long and you couldn't get it away from your table long enough to do it. So, the fact that you guys set that up after the Saturday show and let everybody kind of get through the line, that was really cool. I know just me for myself, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but just myself, I really appreciate that. And especially after you guys, like you said, you've worked nonstop the whole day. The line never, ended. Yeah. And then to, do it one more hour so that we could get through there was pretty awesome.
Not a problem. Yeah. We're glad you guys support us, and our retailers are huge to support the brand. And, we just hope that hopefully we'll outgrow this hotel at some point, where you have it's bigger, and it's not so big that, people aren't still, there's not that sense of community where it gets so big that you don't know anybody. But I think it grows a little bit every year. The line's growing, new toys coming out, Figure Obscura, Cosmic, Mythic. It keeps growing, and the interchangeability just makes it kind of, you can kind of create this universe where, my toys, I have a bunch of custom Templars that are Thundercats. I took a bunch of the heads and made them into Templar cats, and you can just do what you want with it, right, and make it your own. And that's what I think is so great about this. You don't have to. Some people are very strict about the story. Like Cookie has his stuff set up by faction and all that kind of stuff, and some people like me are like, "Oh, it looks cool, so I'm going to I have a Lobo custom that has, or I have a Ninja custom wearing the purple of one of the vampires, using a Ninja Gaiden head and the scarf and everything, just because I think it looks cool. That's how I set up my display. So, you can kind of make the collection what you want. And, we're very, we're very out there to let people know what we're doing and trying to be as communicative as communicate with the fans as much as possible. So, I'm glad to be part of this, just be part of it. And it just kind of happened. Me talking to Joe, just being like, hey, make yourself available, put yourself out there. That's kind of how things happen. You kind of, oh, thank you. Oh, ultimate ambassador. I'll put that on my business card.
There you go. Two things I want to pull up real quick. Just because we got a super chat from Eddie. We're a little past the conversation, but Jesse, take your vitamins, okay?
Yes.
As soon as I figure out what vitamins to take, I will figure that out.
Yes, no bad.
Thank you very much for the super chat, Eddie. And second of all, because you mentioned Figure Obscura, I'm not saying I have any inside knowledge, but we never know when those things are going to drop.
No, we do not.
They have been kind of holiday based, but that's not always the case.
Yes.
If you're looking for Christmas gifts for yourself, go to Store Horseman and buy you some gift cards, or get people to buy you some gift cards.
Yes.
Because you never know. I mean, we've got a pre-order going on right now, and they're shipping out the book 2 stuff, or that should be almost done.
Yeah, it's almost done. It might be wrapping up, but yeah.
So you never know when another Figure Obscura is going to drop. And 3 things, I lied. Check out the end of our Aftermath episode last week. Jeremy Gerard came on the last 10-15 minutes of it or so, and he made some sort of comment about a buying experience at next year's Legions. Kind of didn't give any details, but he said something about it would blow our socks off or something to that effect. So sounds like they already have plans to increase the experience of the show. So I'll be excited to see what that is next year.
Awesome.
Yep. I don't know about you guys. I'm already excited for next year. And not only that, but obviously I'm not local enough that I can go to some of the RetroCon and ZoloCon and things like that. So I've got to really plan, what shows I'm going to go to, but I'm looking forward to MesquiCon, tentatively for 316. I got kind of yelled at by Pete today for throwing that date out there because it's not official yet, but tentatively for 316. But yeah, I know there's just going to be a lot of shows, and I think those are nice little kind of get-togethers that allow us to not have to wait 12 months to see each other again. So that's
connected, and stay connected with folks. Just like a little meet up and meet some folks and see some stuff you haven't been. Yeah, some people, I know Greg is one to even if he's not going to bring his his ogre head or whatever, he's just going to hang out and just meet and hang out with people. I'm going to get him a mayor stash because I feel like every time he was at the table, he's you can see him from everywhere in the venue. So it's like, oh, there's Greg. Where's he always talking to this group, always taking pictures with that one. So, but he's I'm going to get him a mayor stash so that it can make it a little easier for him next year.
Hey, Joe Gonzalez saying he might make it next year. Joe, talk to me. If you can make it, I might need a roommate next year because it sounds like Sean's family might be coming with him. So, you might have at least a room situation figured out if that works out for you. So, and Steve-O saying Midwest Legions Con. I know Legions Con is kind of the New Jersey studio backyard thing. Yeah. But there's nothing stopping people from doing mythic meetups and, in your areas. If you've got people within an hour or 2 drive from you, get together, hang out, do the part swap, like Chris James and those guys did with the part swap on, was that Saturday night?
Yeah, I heard that was really good.
Well, it was cool. Yeah. I think I caught the tail end of it, but it was really cool. There's a lot of things you can do that doesn't have to be official and connect with other Legionnaires and other fans to do stuff. So
and be on the lookout in the Cabal. I know Chris James and Walter have been working to set up these kind of regional Facebook groups. There's a Midwest one, a Northeast one, a West, so be on the lookout for that, because that's a nice way to kind of be in a group with people in the same area as you. And then you can know when there's a con coming up in your area and kind of plan on, meeting together with folks and stuff like that. So, like I said, if you haven't seen that yet in the Cabal, be on the lookout, or even reach out to Chris or Walter. I'm sure they can get you set up in the right area and go from there.
Sure.
So,
And it can help you connect with some of the approved retailers that might be in your area. You know, you
Yeah.
might be able to find some not deals, but necessarily like good ways to like work out a couple people traveling together. Cause I know there's some cool spots in Ohio
Yeah.
that, you know, in like I think in the Columbus or Cincinnati area that have a couple you carpool together, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have
So there's a lot
in Ohio.
of,
Because when I was
Yeah.
when we were at PowerCon, there was a place that wasn't far from the hotel, that was like 5 blocks away or whatever. It was like it had a lot of it didn't sell mythics, but they had a lot of classic toys. But they did have a map in there that was like all the places in Ohio. It had like 20 or 30 places on there. So there's a big, I think, a collection, collectors market in Ohio. So that's something to think about.
That's cool.
I don't know if it was the same store, but I remember last year at PowerCon, first day, someone was like, "Oh, there's a shop right down the street that sells PowerCon." So there was like or Mythics. So there was like a rush on that store when people like left the convention.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't get to make it, but and apparently there's some sort of toy store in the convention center. Yeah, that's like an airport in there. And I remember seeing some Mythics in the windows there, but I never made it back into it.
Yeah, they had Mythics, they had comics, they had the Funko Pops and stuff like that. So we went in there. It was small, they had a couple of things. They didn't have that much, but it was a small little section.
Much is that Mythic in the window?
I love it when you find a place that doesn't know, like that doesn't do like the eBay pricing thing. So like they don't know that like the birds are expensive,
right?
Or like I had a friend find one that they were selling. They didn't know what they were. They were like secondhand purchase, like someone had traded them in or something.
Yeah.
So they had like Goblin Legion builders. They were like $30 a piece, and they were on sale for half off. So my friend grabbed me like 3 of them for
my goodness,
$45 total.
Yeah. You're like, hey, they get a deal when you can.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I'd feel bad about that.
What?
I don't.
Yeah, I would feel bad about that.
It's tough because sometimes you don't know, like, did they get it for free? Did they do you tell them it's worth more? It's I would feel bad too. I probably do it, but I feel bad. I feel bad afterwards, like
yeah,
because they're pricing it based on what they paid for it from who they took it in from.
Yeah. That's true.
Right? If they took it in secondhand like that, or maybe it was
their
own.
Sometimes you don't know what you got. Like.
And if it was an old lady at a flea market, I would feel bad about that. But if it's like a store that sells toys,
especially if it's like somebody that's selling a collection from like a dead spouse or something like that, like
well, yeah, like if it's someone that's giving you a story like that, I would definitely. I like when people tell me like, oh, so and so, they didn't know what they had, and especially if it's just a collector. If you're like a store and that sort of thing, like don't rub it in someone's face.
I freaking wouldn't. And then says you can educate them after. That's even worse.
It's even worse.
Like it's like for you buy it and you get it at the really discounted price, and then you're like, by the way, you could have made a lot more money off of that.
Check out this eBay auction.
Yeah. Way to go, idiot.
If they don't price their stuff off of eBay, then like that's not on you. I don't think that's on you to educate. Like if they didn't pay $75 to get a builder and they're not selling it for $125 or whatever, like But if it's like Dorkler say, if it's someone from their childhood and they don't know what it is, they don't know the value of it. That's like taking advantage of someone.
Yeah. You're trying to pull a fast.
There was no. I wasn't. It was a store. It was a toy store that my friends were at. Stuff was already marked down. It was $30. They had everything was on because no one was buying it apparently at $30. Which is still
going to have to agree with the chat here and just say that you should be ashamed of yourself, Jesse.
Who is saying that?
Is this heel Jesse that we're seeing right now?
No one is saying that.
This guy just said, Joe said, get some good deals from estate sales. Like sometimes you go to the estate sale and you get, then you bring it to the antique roadshow.
And they're just trying to move it. Yeah.
They're just trying to sell it, get something for it, and then you bring it to the antique roadshow.
Yeah.
And you can retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times folks like even if they know they could make more money off of it, like their goal is to move it as quick as possible.
Right.
And so you priced it to move.
They don't want to put it in the legwork.
I'm not saying I went into someone's house and like tried to buy their dead child's collection for $20, knowing it was like $1,000 worth of stuff.
You don't have to keep defending yourself. I was just fucking with you.
The rabbit hole.
Jesse's totally distraught by this. He's gonna be thinking about it all night now.
This little old lady just gave you her collection.
Yeah. You're so evil that he pretends to be good to convince Jesse that he. Yeah. See, now I'm starting to question the whole sit up and tear down Jesse thing. Like I'm being as bad as you said it was.
I mean, it's just a poor widow trying to take care of her kids. You know, her husband died, and
her 12 cats.
You know, she's trying to take care of things. And Jesse's like, "I'll take those goblins for $15 off your hand." Twirling his mustache.
Exactly. Oh, that's so him.
There's nothing to twirl.
Exactly. Oh. Classic Jesse.
Yeah.
But you don't want to see me when I really get mad.
Leaves her tied up on a railroad tracks.
I can't tie knots. I tie my shoes once every couple months. Like I just tuck them into the shoes.
It's like my kids.
Oh shoot. Good stuff.
Stop gaslighting me. Joe.
Gaslighting.
I'm gonna dang it, Joe, if I didn't already send that package out in the mail, I would. Oh no, it's UPS. I just got to make sure UPS doesn't take it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. No, still a chance. Oh my goodness.
Now you're threatened to withhold goods from a friend. Wow.
This is heel Jesse.
I'm not gonna withhold it.
You've really changed.
I'm gonna sleep and forget this conversation happened until
that's probably
next time.
That's probably best.
Oh man, now I want a donut.
Where did that come from?
Don't know.
I don't know. This made me want a donut.
Oh my god, blood mythic figures. That made you want a donut?
like a jelly filled donut.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well,
mythic
I don't have any
donuts.
donuts. I need to get something to eat. That's probably what I'm going to do now because my kids ate. Everyone's in bed. Oh, sorry. Just go ahead.
It didn't hit anybody. Can't. There's no one within striking distance.
This is going off the rails.
Dude,
it was never really on the rails.
Look at this thing.
If you did hit you, you'd be like,
"That's great." I mean, it's just
that's it. That's all you got.
Who, me?
If I hit someone, they'd be like, "Really?
No.
Did you even hit me?"
Yeah, you're squishy.
I mean, I knocked myself on my ass once, but I was trying to pull a bag out of the back of a van, and my hand slipped off like the vinyl of the bag, and it just recoiled back. I popped myself in the lip, dropped myself to the ass in the parking lot.
Really?
Everybody was cracking up.
Yourself that hard? Wow, that's
What's weird is that I've also punched myself in the face before.
We all have. Have. You grip something and you think you have it, and you feel like an idiot.
I was trying to tear shrink wrap off of a pallet, and I'm like just pull it. It finally gave way, and I went.
Yeah. I some bloody lip one time. I'm like, what? How? Yeah. It's like when you bite your own. It's like when you bite the inside of your mouth. Like I've been chewing food for 40-something years, but all of a sudden I'm chewing a piece of pizza, and
then once you do it, then you bite it like another couple times. Once it's already hurt,
but the pizza's so good, I gotta finish it.
It's like you bite down and you're like, what? Did I make like a 5-inch like flap in there that just keeps falling into my teeth? Like, nope, it's just a little bump on the side of your cheek.
Yeah, that's all. That's all it takes.
We've gone off the rails, Jesse.
Yes, we have. It was bound to happen.
Hey, it's what we do.
That's true.
There are no rails.
That's true. There's no shelf rails.
We don't need any rails.
Yeah, that's true. So anything else? We know the 2 books that you promoted. Do you guys have something else in the works that people can look forward to? Anything that you can tease us with?
Nothing. We have some book about a female superhero that we're working on. And then we have another one about a music competition. So we're just trying to, a picture book, and one's more of a graphic novel. So we're trying to put those together. It might be a Kickstarter. We might see. We have an agent now. We had an agent a couple of months ago who saw the Christmas book and is trying to shop it to some publishers. So we're going to bounce some ideas off of them and see what happens. But right now, kind of focusing on getting the most out of the Christmas book for the next couple months, and then next month or so. And then usually the fruit book starts to pick up in the spring because it's warm. People are thinking about eating healthy and that kind of stuff. And I find a lot of schools towards, April and May want me in to do reading. So I'll do that focus. And then, if we can get another book kind of lined up, we always have manuscripts we're working on. So we're always kind of tightening it up, doing rewrites, going back and forth. So hopefully by next year, we'll have something out by by the end of next year. That's the hope.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw that link to your Amazon page with the 2 books back in the chat. So if anyone missed it earlier,
okay.
Hopefully that clicks for you. If not, maybe you can copy it. Or you can just go to Amazon and search I'm Dreaming of a Brown Christmas and click on the Vernon D. Gibbs. Is it the third or the second?
I go by the second. It's by the second. Vernon D.
Man,
Gibbs the second.
I have you. Yeah, I think I typed that wrong somewhere. I thought it was a 3.
Oh no. Mm-hmm. The guy just said Ben. He was at a store in PowerCon and he bought some figures and comics. So yeah, that was the same one. That was it was in the dining area, I think, with the food, like the food.
Yeah,
court. Yeah, it was like you kind of So they probably had some good business with everybody there. But yeah,
excellent. Well, and I'm going to throw this out there for folks watching. Here is the Source Horseman link to the approved retailer. So if you want to check whoever might be doing that sale starting Friday, there's the link for that. Or if you're just new and you don't know about the approved retailers that might be local to you, except for you, Joe. Sorry, I know you live in the middle of nowhere and you said there's like nothing nearby. So if I lived out there, I would live near you, Joe. That wasn't a threat. That was woo. Open mouth, insert foot, all the way to the man. Just
that's what people who are threatening people say. It's not a threat.
Yeah.
You got me so twisted in my own head, Curtis.
I'm not even saying. I'm just playing with a Valiant Knight.
No, it's not an in the moment thing. Like this is like a deep seated thing that's happened since you talked about set up and tear down Jesse last week.
Yeah, see, this is what I do. I just
they didn't talk to me about it afterwards.
Yeah,
they didn't be like, "Hey, Jesse, we need to address something with you." You kind of went off.
Oh no,
set up and tear down. No, we're just gonna bring it up during a public show where everybody's
the best way to do it.
Yeah. I mean,
you have a choice. This is the best choice.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have content for the show.
You do.
He is scaring me.
Get those views. Yeah. That's not a threat. Exactly.
Technically, came in the other order.
Oh boy.
Well, Vernon, it's been awesome to have you on. We appreciate you kind of just sharing a little bit about your experience with the Horsemen and the stuff you guys have been doing with the books and your toy collecting. So it's been a blast, and we appreciate you being on here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been awesome. I appreciate it. You guys do great work, and this is talking a little bit about everything. So it's been fun.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna throw you in the back room there. Well, not throw you, but we're gonna place you in the back.
There you go.
If you've got to run, totally understand. If not, hang out, and we'll be right back with you as soon as we close out the show.
Okay, sounds good. I'll hang out.
All right.
If you're there, I'll see you at ZoloCon in February.
Oh, maybe.
There you go.
Very cool.
All right. See you in a minute.
Domestic violence. There's no one here. I live alone. There's no domestic violence.
Oh shoot! You and Joe in a hotel room at Legion's Con, and police get a domestic violence call. They show up. Joe's got a black eye, but he's like, no, don't take him away. He loves me. He just sometimes I make him mad.
Okay. Come on.
It's really my fault.
No, no. I'm not gonna make jokes about that.
Okay. I will.
So yes, aside from being gaslit, this was a fun episode. Vern was great. Awesome shelf selections. Next week, we're bringing
up the stairs.
Okay. Next week we have
into a doorknob.
Steve-O and Maynard, the Rust King, joining us on Shooting the Shelf next Sunday night, 8:00. Everybody's going to be stuffed on turkey and stuffing or whatever Thanksgiving traditions you take part in, or if you don't take part in any, just whatever weekend stuff you got going on. Totally cool. We'll be back next Sunday night. What Legion's Lounge is, I believe, tomorrow night. They should be back, I think.
I believe. I don't know.
If
I haven't seen
any of those guys are still in the chat, let us know. But I think they're back tomorrow.
Steve-O says next week is when the ratings really go down.
hey, you don't talk about my friends like that, Steve-O.
I will say I did tell Maynard that as soon as he walked into the hotel, like they lost one of the stars on their Yelp review. they're like, man, they're letting homeless people in here.
Oh, God. We kept introducing ourselves to each other the whole weekend until we just started calling each other by the opposite person's name.
Nice. I love me some Maynard and Steve-O. They're both great, so that'll be a fun show. And Trevor does say yes, they will be back tomorrow night. So, and
folks, we're not slowing down. We are taking this through the end of the year. We're getting a show every Sunday come electrical failure and we can't make it happen. In which case, I'll just set up a cardboard screen and pretend I'm doing a show if there's no electricity or internet.
Can we tease our Christmas Eve show that we just locked in?
Sure.
We just locked in the Euro Boys Christmas Eve. So
to narrow that down, it's the guys from the Euro Legions podcast.
Yeah, the Euro Boys.
Not all the guys from Europe.
Yeah. So Christmas Eve, we will be having an early show. We'll be doing it, I believe we said 11 a.m. Eastern. So it'll be earlier in the day so that it works out for them. And, everybody else kind of a little bit easier to watch and attend. But yeah, we'll have the Euro guys all on and it'll be fun. So.
And we do have plans New Year's Eve as well. It might be early in the day. We'll see what happens with the plans we've got going there. But yeah, and then
every Sunday because we don't take weeks off.
Okay,
like some of these
let's not. Don't.
Okay, we don't want to do that. I thought it was.
We can do every week because the quality of our show is a lot lower.
You've got to add up 2 weeks of our the people watching to equal one of theirs.
There's like high quality intros, great backgrounds. They got a lot of stuff going on with those cool transitions and all that sort of jazz. We just kind of sit here and shoot the shit. I mean, that's
important
literally
people in the community, people that work with the Horsemen, people that have tribute figures.
We talked to all those people too.
That's true.
We had Mike. I had Mike Casper on before he even had a figure named after him. So,
well, there you go. He's got two now. He's got a dino too. So
before both of them were named after him.
Yeah, he's doubly awesome. So.
Yeah. But no, lots more cool guests coming up for the rest of the year. I mean, the guests are always fun. That's why we do this show. It's just to get to talk to people and hang out with all you lovely people in the chat. And again.
Hey, also, I'm just going to throw this out real quick before we close out the show because it kind of seemed like you were going that way. Leave us a comment. If there's something that you do like or don't like about the show, there's something we can do differently. I know sometimes we go off into, movies and we talk about, toys. We talk about this and that. If you like seeing multiple guests, if you like seeing, let's just spend time with one individual guest. Shoot us a comment on the YouTubes and let us know what you like or dislike so that we can, kind of cater the show and make it better for everybody as well. So,
well, I mean, let's not go that far. We'll listen to see what you say, but if it takes a lot of work, it's not happening. No, I'm just kidding. We're
you made it sound like my wife is going to kill me, guys.
We're open to feedback and comments. Yes. Let us know. But I was going to say, shows like this, shows like Legion's Lounge, the Saturday Day Live stuff, Legion's Lair when that happens on the other Tuesdays. Legion's Ladies is getting ready to start up.
Yes.
On YouTube. So go. There's a post. I forget who shared. I think Ryan Gonzalez posted it. So make sure you look for his post in there. It is a link to the Legion's Ladies YouTube channel. Who else we got? We got. Mythic Conversations on Wednesday, the 4 Horsemen o'clock. Make sure if you want to stay connected with people, if you're feeling that post-con blues, or if you didn't make it to the convention and you need something, like interact on the other shows, there's always something like that. If you're in the Cabal or Wolf Den, Curtis and I do the customizing studios on weekends sometimes, Mythic Minute Thursday nights. There's tons of places where you can interact with people to kind of fill that void of not being at a convention in person, and try to fill all that space up. So we really appreciate you all being here. I know Curtis will say it with a wink and a nod, some tongue-in-cheek stuff, but we really do appreciate you all being here. Whether you're watching it live with us or on the replay later, it's great having you in here and just getting to see all these names. That this list of people who hang out with us every week just keeps growing. Yeah. So, Destination Stone, their Day 1 Legions Con shows coming out tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern.
Very nice.
They had some great coverage last year, so I can't wait to see what they did this year.
I'm waiting for Jollibee 2.
Jollibee 2.
Yeah, I want to see that. I haven't seen it yet. I don't. Maybe they posted it. I know they said they were going, but that's what I'm looking forward to. So
excellent.
All right. Well, until next week with Maynard and Steve-O, you guys be good to one another. Take care of each other. And until next time.
What's on your shelf?